please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled.
Electoral fraud allegations continue in Ekiti State after the elections. And you're a traitor, Ohaneze and Afenifere tells Okowa. Well, this is Plus Politics. I'm Mary Anako. As the first elections to be held in the wake of some key reforms introduced following the passing of the Electoral Act of 2022 into law, last Saturday's governorship election in Ekiti State was another important milestone in many respects. Amidst vote-buying reports trailing the Ekiti State governorship election, the All Progressive Congress-led state government have been accused of masterminding the arrest and abduction of key members of the party hours before the governorship election. Now, also, some weeks before the election, the candidates of the Action People's Party, APP, Prince Adeyinka Ali, revealed that the party is poised to win the elections to change the fortunes of the state in the interest of the youth and women. Well, tonight we'll be discussing with the gubernatorial candidate of the APP and his stance on the electoral fraud in Ekiti State. It's good to have you join us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So you're not the first who's been making these allegations of fraud as a result of the elections that held over the weekend last week. But yesterday I spoke with a representative of the SDP, and he continued to harp on the fact that the APC and the PDP were involved in vote buying. But the case is different from other political parties. But paint us a picture of what you experienced on Saturday that has made you conclude that there was electoral fraud.
Oh, of course. I directly was involved in this as a gubernatorial candidate myself. And, the whole scenario started early in the morning when youngsters in my community in Itakwa came to me and they were asking if naturally I would want to buy votes. And that came to me like a rude shock. Like, why will I want to buy votes? And why is this even coming directly from my own community? Why is that? Where is that coming from? And they had to advise that there is money already available everywhere. 10,000, 7,000, and 3,000. And in that regard, somebody is asking me to come and buy votes. And I tell them, I will not do that. I am a youth. I still have a long way to go. If I've come, during the course of the campaigns, I was called over for negotiations. And I said, no, I would not step down for whatever reason. I am a youth. I believe in what we can do. I've seen other manifestos and I see that none of them is coming close. So for whatever reason, I will not step down, and I will not even merge with any party. So for young guys to be coming over and be telling me, if I'm not ready to buy vote, then I should be ready to stand with whatever result. At that point, I was destabilized, sort of like, if my immediate community will be saying this, then what do I expect in other places? So, I delayed a little, and I watched the time, like till I didn't go early. I wait till like around 10 thereabout before going to the polling booth. When I got to the polling unit, of course, they give me the preference to come vote and so that I can leave immediately. I said, no, I would rather stay in the queue. I stayed in the queue. I saw some of those agents, they were uncomfortable. They were moving left, right, and center. Everybody destabilized, seeing me right there in the queue. And I stood there. And before you know it, somebody just damn it, like, man, he's not giving us money. So, and that's how they started the trade. And I was there.
So you're
watching.
telling me that you saw monies exchange hands while you were queuing to cast your vote?
Okay, well, maybe the physical money was not displayed, but you see the negotiation and the way it's done. This one, they call it see and buy.
What does that mean?
Okay, originally it had to be, they call it Dibo Kosebe. That is, okay, vote and get a pot of soup. That's the original. But this particular one, they call it see and buy. See and buy is, you vote and you will have a way of displaying it for the agent to see. They will see that you actually printed on their ballot space.
But INEC had succinctly said that would not happen at the polling units. So there was no enforcement of that rule by INEC?
Well, we gave INEC a lot of credit for this election because there is serious improvement. But then, there are still some lapses. The booths, the polling booths now that is used here, maybe originally the advice one was supposed to be somewhat hidden. Where they drop it is supposed to be a bit hidden, though hidden but still open. But in this regard now, it's still very open that they can still show people. They show people, and it's like there's a kind of connivance. You see police will say, cover it, cover it, cover it. Even while police is saying covering it, that is not enough ground to say you're cancelling that particular person's vote. But then it's like everybody knows about this thing. They display it, and you see the way the thing moves. There's a way they have tally. They call it tally. They give them tally, and it moves hands. Okay, this person has done it, and it goes and it goes and it goes till when you start seeing them giving money. I saw when they give money, but it's not going to be the very first person. They move about the third, fourth person. They give money. I was there watching. I stood there for over 1 hour, and I saw this whole thing happen. And then my face like, let
me talk about other issues aside from this. Vote buying is very important, but the ADC governorship candidate, yesterday I also put that question to the SDP representative, had accused not just the APC and the PDP but also the SDP of engaging in vote buying, not just at the state level but at local levels. And then she mentioned something that really stood out for me. She said, despite the number of events that were put together and talks on voter education, whether it be on the media, whether it be in marketplaces, we still saw that level of vote buying and election fraud. So it makes me really wonder if all of you, the gubernatorial candidates, did your job, and if the Ekiti people are really tired of bad governance. I mean, because if you are tired of something that's bad, you'd obviously work against it. But we're seeing that it's a repetition of what's always been. So should we be blaming INEC or shouldn't we be blaming you and, of course, the electorate?
Wait, I need to say this. Prior to the main election, you see the kind of countenance, you see the kind of boldness in me that I was definitely going to win that election.
How so?
And that is because...
What is the structure of the APP in Ekiti State? What's your reach? What's your coverage? How were you going to win this election?
The election, yeah.
As opposed to an incumbent APC, a former governor, Shegoni, and of course you do have the People's Democratic Party who has also held that office. So did you really stand a chance?
Okay, like I said, in the main sense of it, people are tired of this particular government. So that is a serious head for us. They are tired. Ask 1 or 2 persons on the street. They will tell you they are seriously tired of them. Okay, now, coming in as a youth, I have beautiful programs. I was able to sell it to people. A lot of people saw what I was carrying and they bought 10. They love it. I went around the whole local government and I spoke to people. We did a lot of orientation, reorientation about not selling votes and not buying votes. And what we stand to benefit, what they stand to benefit if they elect a youth that can actually bring about the total transformation strategically in Ekiti State. And you see that a lot of people are so enthusiastic about it and they wanted Prince Adeyinka Ali of Action People's Party.
So why didn't they vote for you or any other person without taking the monies, as you have accused them of vote buying, or rather inducements during this election? If you were so certain, why are we seeing people still cowering back to the government that you refer to as one that they do not want anymore?
That is where the problem is. That is where the problem is. That is why this election should be cancelled. They've made people vote against their wish. Because
I'm sorry, was it at gunpoint? When you say they made people vote against their wish, this is it. If I have, and I'm not in any way making a case for Ekiti people, but I'm saying, if I do not want something, no matter what you give to me, I'm not going to take it. But if I am induced at the slightest thing, then maybe I'm okay or comfortable with that thing. I'm not speaking for Ekiti people, but I'm just wondering. Because all the pointers, you're the second person who's talking about the same issue.
Naturally, you can talk like that. You're comfortable. You need to go to Ekiti.
What makes you think I'm comfortable?
You're looking beautiful like this. Go to Ekiti. There is hunger in the land. Even the farming, they can't even go to farm again. There is serious hunger in the land. Now, is it deliberate for the government to starve people and still want to induce them, buy them over with their commonwealth now? Is it deliberate? Okay, fine. Maybe before now, we can say people buy votes. They buy votes maybe a day before the election, and they see that during the course of the election, people can still go ahead and vote their own choices. But in this regard, they call it see and buy. Money was brought to election ground. And this is serious, it's a serious one. If this is not checked, then it's to say to the world that Nigeria is actually on sales.
Talking about things being stopped, EFCC operatives were reported to have arrested a PDP member for inducing, voters. Apparently, this was in Olaoluwa Muslim Secondary School in Ekiti during the elections in itself. Reports had it that the party chieftain was arrested with a large sum of money. So there's some credit there going to the EFCC. There was also a report about an NSCDC official who was alleged to have also involved in some electoral malpractice, even though the NSCDC has come out to rebuff that and say that that's not a true report and that their personnel would not be engaged in this. But other than that, what do you think needs to be done to tighten security around the polling units? Because a lot of us would have looked at the Ekiti elections as a litmus test for what should come for Osun State and, of course, the general elections next year. But can we really say that there's anything to look forward to if we're seeing a repetition, again, like I said, of electoral malpractices?
I would still want to say that the best way to check this is to cancel this particular election and have a rerun. Because as it stands now, a lot of billions have gone into this. Ekiti is poor.
Do you have proof that billions have gone into this if this were to be taken to a court? Because, of course, you have to take to a competent court of jurisdiction. You have to make a case that beyond reasonable doubt that these elections have to be cancelled. Do you have enough proof to fight this in court and get the Electoral Commission to revisit this election?
You are in the media. You know what I'm talking about. Go online. A lot of evidence is out there. A lot of evidence is out there.
Will these evidences that are out there be admissible in court? That's another thing.
Wait, some people are actually arrested, and it's enough. I'm saying, ask every other person that partook in this election. I am a living witness. It happened. It's just that, okay, fine, I need to be a law-abiding person by keeping my phone. I was supposed to be recording. I saw what was happening. It happened within, before my own very high. I saw this happening. And ask every other candidate too. They will tell you their own different expenses. In some other quarters, you have it that even security operatives are the one giving signs. Anytime a security operative look to the side, it means that person didn't vote for them. Meaning they won't have to pay. Anytime, at another time, if it nudges, then it means that, okay, that person actually voted for them. So, look at all this. We can't say this is a free and fair election. No, it is not. It is not. INEC truly, of course, we know INEC, they have evolved over the period, and with what they have done, this is the only thing that is mine, their improvement. And if it is not checked now, the best thing to do is cancel this election, have a rerun. Now they have spent a lot of money. There is no how they will get. Ekiti don't have much money. And they have spent over 5 billion naira for this. So now, if there's going to be a rerun, then let them go and source for money. Let INEC tighten up. Everybody will be on lookout. If they want to buy votes, let them buy a day before. Not right there at the
So you're
ground.
encouraging vote buying, but not on the day of the election?
No, I'm saying that, of course, people know that, okay, fine, you want to bring money to them, bring money to them. They will take the money and they will still vote their conscience. Of course, that one, you can't accuse anybody of not voting for you. But this one, they call it see and buy. Are we pricing sweet or pepper? Something is actually wrong. And if it is not checked now, then what do we expect in 2023? This must be checked. And it must even be cancelled. Because if you wait until when we start going to tribunal, then it means someone would have been sworn in. The best bet is cancel. Let's have a rerun. And then we cannot check this. You want to give money a day before. These are the kind of education we have given to people. We have actually talked about it. I have told a lot of people. I told them, market people, the youth that actually want us to be, look at, I had 1,980 votes across the local government. These are people that stood their ground. Like, they will not take 1 naira from anybody. Despite that, they've seen the program that we have. They see that this is going to bring serious transformation of Ekiti State. They saw the program, have engaged a lot of people. Even youth, what we shall be doing, how we even want to take care of the retirees. But then, why are they keeping them in perpetual poverty just to buy their vote?
Now, let's talk about the cancellation that you're asking for. If there be a cancellation, if there were to be a cancellation, if it comes down to it, how certain are you that you would win?
Oh, definitely. I know I'm winning this election.
How
I'm so confident that if this election is to be credible...
I'm sure that every candidate is very confident that they would win, but there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. What is on ground that guarantees that winning?
I'm a grassroots person. Person. And I've gone round. And with the kind of movement that we've got, we spoke to people. They understood this whole thing. And, if I said, okay, you have clear 1,980 people that stood their ground, meaning 10,000 naira does not matter to them. These are people that they saw it. But others that are hungry, they need to just bend and take this money. And if they had even gotten the money maybe a day before, I would still say that I would have still won the election. But you brought the money to election ground and say, see and buy. It's very ridiculous. For a country like Nigeria, giant of Africa, making caricature of herself out there. No, this is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Let us go back and let this be a level playing ground.
I'm forced to ask this question because it's one thing to say, oh, let's cancel the elections, let's have a rerun. I've spoken to so many people over the years who would say to you, who have great intentions to run for office, and when you have a talk with them, they say, well, you can't talk to an ordinary electorate without some form of gifting. They would say to you, well, we hear your ideas, they're amazing, but we need something, give us something. So I'm wondering, is this because this is where we are as a people, this has eaten deep into the fabrics of our personality as a country? Or is it that maybe it's just because, like you said, the people are impoverished, but if you're in poverty, wouldn't you be looking for a better life other than a quick fix?
Oh, of course, you know, that's the same thing that we are talking about here. People are in poverty, they are hungry, they need something to eat. And with that, anything that is available, they want to take. But we are saying that you can campaign, you can lure people, you can rule them with whatever you've got. People still have their mind. That's why we are human beings. That is why it's not cast in stone that, oh, once they spoke to you, you go out there to vote for them. So, whatever you want to do it before the election day. People still have their mind to go out there and take out their votes for whoever they want. But in a situation whereby you bring it right there to the election ground, that is the problem here. They call this one see and buy. That is what I'm saying. Maybe you're not even getting it. They bring the money right there. And they are giving people money right there. And you say we are having election. Or we are pricing paper or sweet. That is no election. It is no election at all.
The Ekiti people obviously are watching you. And what message would you be giving to them that you think would change their minds if there be an opportunity for a rerun?
Wait, get it. It is not that the Ekiti people naturally will not want to vote with their own choice. They will want to vote their choice. But I'm saying there is hunger in the land. And because of that now, there is an inducement right there to their face like this. They have choice. Vote for who you like or stay hungry and die. And that, of course, is reasonable to want to get the money.
What's your message to Ekiti people?
Oh, what we are saying now is, Ekiti people, they of course, you see that there's no jubilation. Go right there on the street, there's no jubilation. People are not happy because they actually vote against their own wish. So now they are calling that they don't even want this election. Let it be cancelled. Of course, they've gotten what they needed from them. But we are saying, cancel this election. Let's have it free and fair. And if it is like that, let also everybody now be on ground to watch this, that okay, no money will be brought to the election ground. And with that, we are so sure that okay, fine, Ekiti people will now vote their own choice. Okay. Please give Ekiti this chance. You can't make them go hungry or to buy them.
Okay.
Ekiti still remain a poor state. Okay. And Ekiti should not be poor. With all what Ekiti is endowed with, Ekiti should not be poor. And they do this over the years. Please, this must stop. And ANE can help us by cancelling this election. They have spent the money. Of course, a lot of people benefited from it. But they are not still happy. Because they know it. You need to go to Ekiti and see what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you. Prince Adeyinka Ali is the gubernatorial candidate for the APP, and he was part of the just concluded governorship elections in Ekiti State. It was so good to have you join us in this conversation. All right, that's it on this segment. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be talking about the running mate for the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State, and what Ohanaeze and Afenifere have to say about that. Stay with us.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thought and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
Seize it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. From the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God. The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for
John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
Senator Tinubu, or that, however we want to call it, has been building this over time. If you check it, how many people has he helped to get into office? There are countless people. Do you expect these people to turn their backs on him? So the mode of primaries that APC chose favored him, or when I don't know how they chose it, but there is no way, based on the capacity he's been building, for him to get to lose this, because pretty much everybody there, one way or the other, has benefited from his generosity, or from his politics, or from his guidance, however you want to look at it. And there is no way. I wasn't even surprised. For me, at the end of the day, you could say, if you were looking at social media a few days back, you might think others had a chance, but if you understood politics, there is no way.
I would say that, frankly, I would rather that Bola Tinubu withdraws from the contest and allows the vice president.
Why?
My reasons are profound. Bola Tinubu, Asiwaju himself, is practically too old, weary, and tired for the enormous responsibility of fixing, resetting, and reworking Nigeria. And that is why it becomes very difficult for the supporters of the vice president to make him step down. The truth is that from the southwest, the candidacy of the vice president is more attractive to people across the nation. Beyond the fact that Asiwaju is a political figure and a phenomenon,
in spite of the sentiments about rotation.
The Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum has described the governor of Delta State, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, as a traitor for accepting his nomination as vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. The group said Okowa was among the governors who agreed that power should be rotated to the southern part of the country based on the principle of fairness, justice and equity, adding that accepting to be the running mate of the northern candidate was unfortunate. Afenifere, in a joint statement, said Okowa was jeopardizing the political future of the people from the southern parts of the country. Well, joining us to discuss this are Odozi Nwodozi. He's a former president of Ohaneze Ndigbo FCT chapter, and Oladotun Hassan. He is the global president of the Yoruba Council worldwide. Thank you so much, Mr. Hassan, for joining us.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on your program.
Great.
Highly honored.
Great. Let's start by this position from Afenifere. Of course, Nwodozi is going to speak on Ohaneze's position. Why is Okowa being seen as a traitor, even though it's been clearly stated that he was part of those who asked for power to be rotated to, the south? But we also see that most of these southern candidates did not necessarily make the cut, except for those for the candidate of the All Progressive Congress and, of course, Governor Peter Obi of the Labour Party.
Well, I must first acknowledge the fact that the elders of the land, which is led by the Entrepreneurial and under the aegis of Ayo Adebanjo, whom in their wisdom feel the need to give the Southeastern due recognition when it comes to the political rotational on the presidency. But be that as it may, the Afenifere endorsement is not a caveat against the fundamental rights of other political interests, especially considering the politicking and all the processes that led to the emergence of presidential candidates and vis-a-vis the vice presidential candidate, that is of the PDP and that of all other political parties in the same vein. To us, from the Yoruba Council Worldwide, we don't feel slighted by the fact that Okowa is selected by the party. And I don't see him as a traitor. My own capacity, I don't see him as a traitor. He has only played through the rules and interests of the party. There are a lot of Southeastern candidates that vie for the election. For the delegates elected, those that they feel that have the highest bidder when it comes to money or when it comes to the political interest or the political permutation. So, for any reason whatsoever, if you are not a party, an active player in that political party, you don't have the right of challenging them, except you go and pick up the card of that party. Then you can now begin to express your right. But be that as it may, even at that end, the demand for vice president from the PDP shouldn't even be something that will be negotiated upon if PDP were to have been given tickets, because initially they had wanted to zone the party's interest to the southern region. Later they opened it, later they zoned it to the north part. And it is also going to upset the balanced structure of the outgoing government, which is from the northern region. We cannot serve the region for 8 years and another 8 years again for another northern man. It's not possible. So PDP would have played the traitor game rather than having it on Okowa. Okowa has nothing in this interest. Just as the APC did the same thing, it would have fallen on the Senate president if they had allowed the national chairman to naturally choose the man in question. But be that as we believe, let's not overheat the policy. Okowa has the fundamental right. He let him play by the rules. It's partly from the ego. It's partly from the southeast and south, just like we had Jonathan.
I want to come in. I want to come in quickly. You made very interesting points about the fact that Okowa is just being a party man. And just as you made reference to the elders of the Afenifere group, I'm guessing that also you have members of Afenifere or people from the southwest and the south and the southeast in the PDP, as you also have them in the APC and every other political party. And I'm just curious, if they had pulled their weight, if they had done the groundwork, would a southern candidate not have emerged? Or, again, like we always say, politics is a game of numbers. So why begrudge an Okowa when within the party, those who are from the zone did not necessarily do their homework? I'm just asking. No.
Let us take it from this mathematics. The best bet of the Eastern candidate or Eastern aspirant would have been Peter Obi from the PDP if he had not become to the Labour Party. The audit, the campaign of Peter Obi upset some of the expectations of the elders or some other interests within the enclave of the PDP. Yes, we have the Tayin Fayos. We have all other aspirants that contested that are from the Eastern Zone. But be that as it may, the elders of Entrepreneurial have the opportunity to look at another candidate from another political party from the Eastern Zone. It is their will, it is their interest. We are not competing that with them. We are not running conflict with the elders as a group within the Southwest region. From our own region and our own organization, we believe that power should be retained in Southwest. We have a divergent opinion, and that does not make us a traitor to the elders. We are only believing that, from the ruling party, there is more structural political advantage for us to lean on where it is very possible to achieve power with little or less effort than going to a total political party whose region is just produced the incumbent president. We cannot support on that basis. We also had our own reason, which does not make us a traitor. So, just as you have rightly said, Okowa interest is interest of the PDP. It is now beyond of PDP on how they campaign in the Southeast, South, and Southwest, North Central, Northeast, and Northwest. So it's a political space that is open for all. Nigerians have opportunity to vote freely, but for us from Yoruba land, we cannot have our own son and throw him away, just like the Eastern people are protecting their own son. It is not about ethnicity here, it's about competency and competitive advantage. From the Southwest, we have a candidate that will hold the entire nation from a strategical aspect. He has the wherewithal experience, he has the structures, he has done it before, and we believe giving him the opportunity, seeing his own long life and vision as well, let him also have the opportunity to serve. Within 4 years, if he performs excellently well, we will tell him to his face, and if he does not, we will protest to the street.
But can Nigeria afford another false start, or rather another, let's trying our luck to see if this person does right, and hoping that the person does right? Can we afford that for another 4 years? Looking at where we are as a country in every wise. Again, I want to take you back to what you said, that if Peter Obi was still in the PDP, he would have been a better candidate. But if Peter Obi stayed within the People's Democratic Party, as against those who run, as against the person who emerges as the flag bearer, would he have even stood a chance in the first instance? And looking at where he is now, doesn't he stand a better chance?
Yes, I'm with you.
Did you hear my question?
Yeah, for me, I still believe that we cannot be discussing PDP affair if you are not a card-carrying member of that political party. I am not a card-carrying member of APC. We only believe that of the interest. I have always been a member of the PDP. I ran for Senate under PDP. But I have a choice beyond the political party I belong. It is not a matter of political party, it's a matter of interest. You can vote for House of Assembly that you have interest in. I don't vote for the governor. Nigerians are now wiser now. We're not just going to be voting blanketly. But it's better we vote those that have competence and the capacity to serve. So for us, it's a matter of not overeating the policy and letting us have too much ethnic coloration.
Okay.
And I don't want people to misquote us that for us supporting Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu is predicated on ethnic coloration. No. But at the same time,
But
on
you just
moral
sounded, but you just
ethos,
sounded that way,
there is
Dotun.
a need for balancing
You
of the
just
equation.
sounded that way, more like, well, we in the Southwest would vote for this person and give this person a chance, and those in the Southeast should do this, are doing the same for their brother, which makes this election, have a lot of question marks. But just hold that thought. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll conclude on this conversation. Stay with us.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed. And what have you. We must remember that at the end of the day, the people that are involved in all of these calculations, and strategizing and all of that are politicians. And to them, the overriding interest is their own interest first. So, as the emergence of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was more about which of the candidates those politicians felt stood the greatest chance of defeating an incumbent government, regardless of whichever candidate that incumbent government or incumbent party eventually presents. So in the eyes of the delegates and what have you, they felt that whether, regardless of the zoning arrangement, Atiku stood the biggest chance. That's not to say, that's without prejudice to the very show of shame that we saw with how money became a major factor.
Well, facing out the politicians is not the best.
It's still Plus Politics, and we are speaking on the issue of the deputizing of the former Vice President of Nigeria, who is now the candidate for the People's Democratic Party's presidential ticket. And of course, Ohanaeze Ndigbo and Afenifere have referred to Governor Okowa as a traitor for accepting to play second fiddle. Well, we're being joined right now by Odozie, who is the former president of Ohanaeze Ndigbo FCT chapter, and we still have been talking with Oladotun Hassan, who is of the Yoruba Council Worldwide. Odozie, it's interesting that a certain group of the Igbo extraction had at some point reached out to Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, appreciating him for being the running mate of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar for the PDP ticket. And then here we are calling him a traitor. And I'm wondering, why is Governor Okowa referred to as a traitor in this regard? Mr. Odozie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you clear and clear.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, let me say something. The group that congratulated Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, we are not the mainstream Ohanaeze youth group. However, there is a lacuna, and the lacuna is this. There was a rushed congratulatory message by the National Publicity Secretary of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Alex Obonia. And that was followed immediately by the outright reprimand of the Southern and Middle Belt leaders, which Edwin Clark and Paayo Adebanjo are leading. So, and this is as a result of a taken meeting that has been following up since 2017. Aimed at making sure that in 2023, an Igbo man comes out as the president of Nigeria. If you remember, in 2019, Christian Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum unshakenly gave their support to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And that support, they made it clear that time that in 2023, the next president of Nigeria will be from the south.
Okay.
And there was an unwritten agreement that the Igbo extraction, the southeast, the Igbo of the southeast, to produce the president of Nigeria from 2023. Surprisingly, we should recall also that Dr. Okowa, as the governor of Delta State, convened and hosted the meeting of the southern governors right there in his capital, Asaba, where they came out with a communique that demanded that the presidency of Nigeria must come from the southeast, from the south in 2023. How come that suddenly Dr. Okowa is celebrating his being chosen as a vice for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar for the 2023 election?
Mr. Wadozi, I want to ask a question.
It's an aberration.
You and I watched,
yes.
The whole country watched while the presidential primaries of the People's Democratic Party took place. Where were the people of the southern and the middle belt during that primaries? We saw those candidates from that region.
I want to thank you for that.
Fall out on that primary, and then of course the emerging candidates, which was the vice president, was the man with the highest votes. Where were the votes of these people who were pushing for a southern candidate?
Very brilliant question. Now let me tell you something. If both of the South cannot produce a president, if the vote is unanimously without a vote of the other side. Now, the Southern and Middle Belt leaders are not politicians. They are men elders and opinion molders. The political actors in the game were the governors. Can you ask Dr. Okowa where the vote of his delegate went? He failed to produce the Southern solidarity. If he had used the force with which he canvassed for vice presidency, to canvass for the president of Nigeria coming from the south, we will not be where we are today. Rather, he chose to play second fiddle ab initio by supporting Atiku Abubakar with the aim that at the end of the day he will be chosen as the vice president. I wouldn't call him a traitor, no, because he made his choice. But that choice is not the choice of his people. That choice is selfish.
Okay.
And it also it becomes more laughable. It becomes more laughable with excellency after Okowa coming up after he's been selected as the vice president candidate. To now say he's evil and nobody can count him out. Asked by governor. I am from Delta, I'm an Anioma man from Delta State. Precisely, I'm from Ambo. Ask him, for the past 8 years, has he paid the 1 million naira that every state governor of the 7 of Ohanese state pays into the coffers of Ohanese?
So this is an Ohanese issue as opposed to him standing by the wishes of the Southeast or the Southwest?
No. I'm referring to what to his own state standard. He said he's an Igbo man and nobody can deny him from that. But has he been saying his dream?
Okay.
If you're a family member, have you been doing performing your duties and obligations in that family?
Okay.
And it's surprise. So let us not tell us about that issue, because if you raise credibility matters as regards his ambition.
All right.
Back to the matter of the Southern Middle Belt.
In one sentence, because we're out of time.
Okay, maybe some other time we'll discuss it. But the truth is that Okowa has not done well.
Okay.
By refusing to support his brothers or himself. So he's getting himself for the position.
Okay.
But he fell back to take the crumb of vice presidency. The southern part of Nigeria say no.
All right.
And I am happy that for the first time, the middle belt and the minorities of the north are joining the southern part of Nigeria to say a big no.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you, gentlemen, because we are out of time. Modozi Odozi is the former president of Ohaneze Ndigbo FCC chapter, and Oladotun Hassan is the global president, Yoruba Council Worldwide. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking with us, but time is up. Thank you. Well, that's it on the show tonight. It's been Plus Politics. Tomorrow we'll return at 7 p.m. to talk for development on the biggest political issues across the country. I'm Mary Anna Cone. See you tomorrow.
Is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria?
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
My name is Adegbenga Badijo. I am a chartered accountant. I choose to be part of the movement to change the narrative from the good old days to looking forward to a better tomorrow. I'm an Ijebu man from Ijebu-Igbo in Ogun State, born and bred in Ilesha, formerly in Western State, later Oyo State, but now Osun State. Though from a middle-class parentage and a humble background, I was born at the prestigious Wesley Guild Hospital Ilesha, with one of the best medical facilities in Nigeria and a retinue of well-trained doctors, nurses, and medical personnel to boot. So I knew this song as a toddler. Ìgbìmọ̀ mi rèjò fi ojú mi rò mí o. Ìgbìmọ̀ mi padà bọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ mi mọ́ dayọ̀. Ọba rere mọ́jọ̀rọ̀ ẹkún bá mi. I grew up wanting to be a medical doctor. We lived at Kappa in Ilesha, the staff quarters of the Government Teacher Training College Ilesha, where my late dad was a teacher and a tent-making Methodist minister. Incidentally, I visited the compound a year ago, got to the house where we lived, and was taken aback by the level of infrastructural decay. The hitherto green, lush lawns are overgrown with weeds, with indiscriminate subsistence farming going all around the place. As a young man with a humble background, I missed nothing. In fact, when my late dad of blessed memory bought his first ladder saloon car at less than £3,000 with a car loan, I felt we had moved to the upper middle class. I never believed we didn't have what bourgeoisies had. There was no "my car is bigger than your own" mentality. To us, then, education was everything, and this still holds true today as the best inheritance and legacy that can be enduring. We can change the narrative by investing tremendously on rejuvenation of formal and citizens' education across board so that we can restore a value system that engenders transformational and healthy leadership traits for a better tomorrow. Our children deserve a brighter and a better tomorrow, not the good old days. I join Shemore in this collective drive towards a greater tomorrow. Thank you.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God. The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. From the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayome Saleh, and today I have the blondies in the building. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Fine.
Hello. What's good?
Good.
NJ Omero, she got the memo. We're pinking out today.
Yeah.
How are you? How was your day? How's your?
Good.
How's the week? How's the week been for you?
Well, it's been a long week with the whole scarcity and everything.
Tell me about it.
You know, having to bring out your local side just to get petrol. It's a lot. Can take a lot from a girl.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Norma, how are you? How's your day?
It was, you know, one of those James Bond days. In fact, by the time I sent Omolola the picture of how I look, she laughed her heart out, and then she says, okay, no, I was not laughing at you. I was laughing with you. It's funny how we don't really look like what we go through, but thank God we pull through and we're here.
Did I tell you that I used my mouth today to suck food?
That was how many years ago? Remember that day?
I did it today.
Really?
When somebody said, I have half keg of petrol for you, I was on red tank. Come on. I said,
oh my goodness. Wow. It's funny what Nigeria can make. No.
It brings out the skills that you're not sure you had.
Hidden germs.
Hidden talent. Oh my God. But today we're discussing businesses, right? And we have a fantastic guest with us. We are asking, about, the role of mindset when it comes to business success. And here's what we found as today's quote. Your words control your life, your progress, your results, and even your mental health and physical health. You cannot talk like a failure and expect to be successful. This was from Germany, Kent. Now, a growth mindset is a belief that your efforts and those of other people will lead to success in business. It does not matter if this path is an uphill battle or a downhill sprint. Now, a growth mindset encourages you to overcome obstacles and view setbacks as opportunities. So today, Tewa Onasanya is here to discuss the role of mindset in business success. But first, let's take a break to see what we found in the news. You're still watching Ways now. National Kissing Day. I'm going to kiss somebody tonight. On June 22nd is all about showing your love and improving your health. That's right. Kissing is actually good for you. That's #wellness, right? Kissing relieves stress. It burns calories and benefits your immunity. That's if you're kissing the right person that does not have disease. So with so many perks, we can't imagine why anyone wouldn't want to celebrate this day. Today, kissing is a form of communication. We use it to show love, or in some cultures as a greeting. The running theory on the evolution of this of the kiss is based on our natural instinct to share food, similar to how many mammals feed their young ones. Now, since then, historians believe the earliest reference to kissing traces back to India, with 4 major texts in the Vedic Sanskrit lecture referencing the supposed earliest forms of kissing, dating from 1500 BC. These texts describe kissing as the act of rubbing and pressuring the nose together. Nama, bring your lips here.
They said the nose. They said the nose.
Wait, nose. Can I tell you to bring your nose? Bring your lips.
You know, funny enough, my little son at home, there was a day that I don't know what he did, and he felt I was offended with it. He said, "Mama, bring your face. I just want to kiss you." And then he just rubs it. His nose. Look at this young man. As little as you already have. But I was super excited that he's in touch with his emotions. Yeah, right?
but children do that a lot with definitely. The nose. Yeah. My kids, when they were younger, every time, you go.
It has a warm feeling to it, actually, when done with the right person.
Please, though.
But the part that interested me the most was the calorie burning part. How do you burn calories?
You're doing exercise.
No, but you know that. Okay, so let me just say, with sex, it's and when it's passionate. Yeah. So when the kiss is passionate, it comes from within, so it burns some calorie,
Right.
Something like that.
Experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that info.
See my notepad, I was writing.
I hear you. All right, so who are we starting with? Let me start with you, NJ. What do you find first in the news?
Oh, me? Nothing too interesting, but very, very interesting. Actually, don't mind me. It was actually an article in Punch newspaper about Afe Babalola being recognized as the 400, I think they placed 400 globally. And I think it's a good thing for Nigeria, and it's in this time where we are, even though it's not the number where we want to be, but the fact that we have a university that we can actually be proud of on the global scale and has been recognized on the global scale. So I think it's a good thing, because right now Nigeria is dishing out a lot of bad news, and it's good for us to once in a while get good recognition and good publicity for things where we're actually getting it good. So I think that's what you have.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. What do you have?
That's a private school, right?
Yes. Afe Babalola University is it's called, the full is
you have to find it.
Abuad. So Afe Babalola University Ado Ekiti.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like a private school.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong to the state or the government, no.
I don't think
You don't think so?
I think it's a private university.
Because I know that Covenant University at some point was graded. I don't know what number they are on globally.
Yeah.
But I know that they've always made that global list of, best universities in the world.
Which is quite funny why Afe Babalola University was chosen.
I'm happy for them.
Was chosen, which means places them as #1 in Nigeria out of 197 universities in Nigeria currently.
Oh, wow. Okay, so is it that they have overtaken Covenant? We'll check that out.
Do you understand?
But it's a private university, I hear, though.
Yeah.
I guess everybody has that opportunity to.
Yeah.
It's a competitive world.
Absolutely.
So
they have to do more, yes, and evolve. All right, so Norma, your story.
Unfortunately, I have very sad news.
Oh, wow.
There was an earthquake in Afghanistan, and at least 1,000 people died in that earthquake, and about 1,500 were injured. So a powerful earthquake has killed at least 1,000 people and injured 1,500 at the eastern Afghanistan. And the earthquake struck shortly after about 1:30. That's about 9 o'clock GMT on yesterday, while people slept. So you can imagine, because of the fact that people were not conscious, they were mostly sleeping. A lot of people just went like that. Hundreds of houses were destroyed by the magnitude. The magnitude was about 6.1, which occurred at a depth of 51 kilometers. That's like 32 miles. And they say that this is the deadliest earthquake to strike Afghanistan in 2 decades, and major challenge for the Taliban that had taken over after the Americans left Afghanistan. And a lot of collapse already. Afghanistan has been hit all round with wars and, of course, the natural outcomes that come from war, suffering, poverty, people, there's no infrastructure and all of that. So adding an earthquake to the calamity that they have suffered over the years was just a deadly blow. And the Taliban are asking for UN support in this regard. The hospitals are struggling because there's lack of medical care and even manpower to handle the casualties and the victims, people who were injured seriously. And sometimes when I hear news like this, I'm wondering if something like this happened in Africa or in Nigeria, to be precise. I do not even know if there will be anything left of us. It was really tragic for me to read because a lot of people lost children, some people missing family members. It's just a lot of chaos going on. And we're praying that somehow help will come and that things will get better. It's really unfortunate.
Very sad.
Very sad. So then it's crazy.
So,
Can't even imagine.
How corporate tenants shun Lagos high-rise office spaces amid harsh harsh economy, right? So this is just like would I call it an expose or a write-up? Somebody was just explaining, and I thought that caught my attention because, I've been shopping and hunting for an office space, and I can tell you for free, it's not an easy thing. And because we're talking business today, right, I just thought to bring it as my news story. So I just want to read a few excerpts from the body of this conversation. It says, over the last couple of decades, the cost of renting an office space in Lagos, particularly around the Highborough area of its island, has been relatively high. In 2021, it was reported that the average cost of renting an office space in Lagos Island stood at 3.6 million naira per annum. This has led to lower demand due to declining purchasing power of several corporate organizations which are facing economic downturn and revenue crunch. Now, according to a recent report, prime office segment of the Nigerian real estate market recorded its worst performance in 5 years, with the vacancy rate remaining unchanged as of the second half of 2021. The report described 2021 as the office market's less than desirable period when the performance of the key metrics such as take-up was at its lowest. On the other hand, a report of 2014 showed that there was one of the highest period where people rented office spaces. So, I mean, so when we talk about economic growth, right, and, you know, business growth and progress and all of that, it just tells you that, you know, this is the reality of what we're facing. Because you see so many to let, you know, by the time you go there, you ask about the costing, and it's so expensive. You just say, you know what, I think I should work from home. And again, I believe that even COVID opened a lot of it opened our eyes to a lot of things that, okay, you really do not need an office space, especially if you're not interacting with. So I've seen a lot of startup companies, they have massive funding in terms of investment in dollars, but yet all their staff, they're working from home. So these are things that, apart from the things that we do, that we have to be in a physical studio. I mean, the Real in the US, they were doing the Real up until
virtually for a while.
I mean, it was almost 2 years they were recording from home. But the thing is, it was expensive because each anchor had to have a complete set.
Literally a
whole studio, camera to yourself, everything, because they were not using, it wasn't a Zoom thing, you know. But I'm just saying to you that even landlords need to start rethinking, because you cannot afford to keep your rents at a high price. So you might need to really crunch it down, because really, everything is eating up your money. If it's not the fuel, it is the power. If it is not the power, it is the, what's it called?
And people are prioritizing
food.
now.
And thank you. So people are prioritizing what is most important, and that's what they're spending on. So, I mean, it will only make sense that this landlord association review your... I'm just telling you, because, you know, that was where I was landing with the conversation. Just try to review it, because, I mean, you don't want to leave the spaces empty anyway. All right.
Just to bring another angle to it, the fact that, you know, even in Lagos, people are even reconsidering because of the number of collapse of buildings.
So people are even running away from high rises.
People are even being conscious, and even with all of the glam and everything, they're like, my life is more important to me than your high-rise building. So.
All right, so let's bring in our guests. We'll come back from the break. We want to discuss the proper mindset for business success. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers. You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Like, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity. No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
This medal has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
When I start hearing the shoot of gun,
whatever I've done.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, according to a publication by Powerful Impact, monster entrepreneurs want to grow their, or most entrepreneurs rather want to grow their business. If you're just starting out, you at least want to set yourself up for success. But whether you are new or have been trying to build your business for some time now, one thing is for sure, you want growth and you want it really soon. Now, it's every entrepreneur's dream to be the next Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. You can mention whatever that is equivalent to your industry. You might have ventured into entrepreneurship with an idea that you thought would be the next biggest thing. But as you've probably known by now, great ideas alone don't work. So you are stuck till still trying to get your business off the ground. So you keep your business afloat with the thoughts that your perseverance will get you somewhere somehow. Now, perseverance pays off, but not always. It might sound cliche, but business success starts with the right mindset. Now, the growth mindset is the perfect mindset for business success. So what role do you think or do you feel mindset plays in the success of a business? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. So I'll bring in Tara in a minute, right? I just want to hear your quick thoughts on business success and, the mindset,
When we talk about business mindset, my mind quickly goes to motivational, uncles and aunties.
Aspire to aspire.
Like you always say, aspire to aspire and all of that. So, but most people, business mindset is not about just motivational quotes. How you say, all those pumping touch points that just ginger people and there's no action. It's a whole different concept when it comes to business mindset. It is something you become. It's not just something you say or something you just dream about. It is something that it's a way of thinking that sees opportunities, or rather sees problems as opportunities, and you're always looking to provide solutions.
Absolutely.
And when you have the right kind of mindset, you would not be in a situation where you would not be able to thrive, because when you're solving problems for people, then actually there's a business there.
Absolutely. How about you, NJ? What's your thoughts?
Well, I've tried being in business once or twice in my lifetime, but I've found myself in the corporate world more often time than none. But when it comes to business mindset, it's not even just when you have a business that like a private business that you want to go into. It's also even being in that corporate space there's a mindset to it. You know, you have to, there are requirements in order to stay relevant within that space. You always have to make sure, in terms of education, you continue to re-educate yourself on what is expected of you, what are the requirements at every level you're getting to, whether it's trends within the industry. So you always have to, there's a price to pay. And you have to be willing to pay that price, and that's the mindset. You have to know what is expected of you and be willing to do it in order to get where you want to go. You can't just wake up every morning wishing you were like Mark Zuckerberg without sleeping at 3 a.m. and waking up at 5 a.m. and having to go to the gym and receiving a call at 6 a.m. That's the lifestyle of those people, and if you're not willing to do it, then you're not willing to be that rich.
So it's interesting that you talked about, you know, growth, you know, in the corporate world.
Yeah.
If you have the entrepreneurial mindset in the corporate world, you will definitely stand out. All the pointers will know that this person is different because you have the heart of the business in your heart, and so most times the way you would approach the work will just be completely different from just a regular employee, right? So even within the corporate world, a lot of people do not understand this mindset that is required, you know, for business success, and that's why so many businesses, you know, struggle. You know, so you must really have the right team, and the right team should be thinking about the growth of the business as much as the business owner. But let me bring in our guest now. Tewa Onasanya is an entrepreneur and a philanthropist, right? She's a publisher, author, and mindset stylist. I like this. Holds a BSc in pharmacology from the University of Portsmouth, UK, and a diploma in fashion journalism from the College of Media and Publication, UK. Is certified. She's also she has a certificate in mindfulness, right, from Udemy, and a certified law of attraction practitioner, Jehovah Shammah. So you can't miss it anywhere. She's the founder of Exquisite Magazine, a fashion and lifestyle magazine from the Unlimited Woman, which organizes the Exquisite Magazine Awareness for Cancer events, and in 2019 started an only female award ceremony called the Exquisite Lady of the Year. That's Eloy, in case you do not know the full name, now you know. Eloy Awards and Conference, aimed at sustaining women's empowerment by celebrating and empowering women of excellence in different fields. Tewa has been featured in numerous international and Nigerian media, which include CNN, BBC, New York Times, Wikipedia, Punch, Guardian, This Day, Vanguard, and many more newspaper and television stations. She's won several awards internationally and locally in Nigeria, and we're super honored to be having her live with us in studio. Hey! Only you, Wakako. I know, right? But it's such an honor to have you.
It's an honor being here. Thank you for inviting me. You ladies look so exquisite.
Oh, yeah. We have to look good for the exquisite lady herself.
Absolutely. You look divine.
How are you?
I'm very blessed.
It's been a long time since I met you.
Yes.
I said, wow, it's been such a long time. But I mean, over the years, I have seen you evolve, right? And it was worth having this conversation to celebrate, you know, what you've been doing and you know, what you keep doing for women. So, you know, first of all, what mindset do you as Tewa, what do you have? Because we've seen that growth show up in every single thing, how you evolved from just, you know, magazines, you became, then the awards started, the conferences started, now you're doing a lot of business clinics for women, and you're doing exceptionally well, you know. So tell us how the mind of Tewa is working right now. Let's understand your mind.
Tewa's mindset. So, this might seem a little bit, you know, out of what's the word, but I strongly believe my mindset at the moment, at this part of my life, is that whatever you dare dream of, you can do it. The only reason it would not come to pass is if I give up. So, and it scares me actually when I came into this realization a few years ago. When I say a few years ago, when we started the conference in a big way, so this was in 2019, and you know, I had this from my mindset styling work and, you know, the law of attraction and mindfulness and things like that. I have come to realize that whatever it is we want to, whatever vision we have, whatever goal, whatever dream we have, is God's words for us. And it has to come true. Absolutely. So the only reason that it doesn't come to, you know, reality is if we don't do it or we give up.
Absolutely.
So I have that mindset of, okay, if I can even conceive this idea, that means it's possible. The only reason that it won't, be possible is if I give up. So that's my mindset at the moment.
Awesome. So you see a lot of business women, you see a lot of, businesses, but we're focusing on women, right?
Yeah.
But,
sorry,
tell us,
man.
yeah, sorry. Sorry, they say we always talk, but you will need us more than we need you right now, because the population is huge, and women are entrepreneurs, are the biggest employers of labor. So you must understand that it's important for us to succeed in our businesses, right? So maybe you should walk us through, first of all, what do you think is the biggest challenge, right, that you see business failures when it comes to women-led businesses? Yeah.
So I would say the mindset. That would be my first thing. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people have these bright ideas, but how many people are actually running with the ideas? And the ones that are running with the ideas, how many are going that extra length to not give up, but make sure that, it's thriving, it's growing, it's surviving? Because everybody, a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, they have these bright ideas, but they still kind of like cower and say, okay, will I succeed? And some people don't even want to be seen starting from the bottom. And things like that. So that mindset as well is kind of like putting people back. And the funniest thing is women entrepreneurs make up about, I think, 40% or more of the SME population in probably Nigeria or the world, or in Africa, actually. And we're not even, yes, we have other, other challenges, obviously finance, and then access to entrepreneur trainings and things like that. And when I say access to entrepreneur trainings, there are trainings, but then again, are people applying what knowledge they've acquired? And that goes back to the mindset.
Right.
Because when you go to all these trainings, you've been aspired and perspired. You've been gingered and stuff. What happens after that? Which is why we actually do what we do with the Electoral Awards and the Exquisite magazine as well. Because we're thinking, okay, you can't all come to this conference and then you get all the motivation, you're inspired, and then you go home. It's like the balloon just gets deflated. Because sometimes people don't even know where to start.
Right.
People don't know where to start. Sometimes I don't even know where to start. You have this big vision and you're thinking, okay, where exactly do I start from?
Absolutely.
And you need this. So it all starts with the mindset. And a lot of people might not know this, but whatever we achieve in life is actually 95% our mindset and 5% the actual work we put in.
Absolutely.
Because the mindset will determine what kind of action you're going to take, what kind of thoughts you're going to entertain. Because a lot of people are not intentional about the thoughts as well. And all of these things matter.
Absolutely. Hey.
Wow. It seems like a whole lot.
It is a whole lot.
How do people, especially in these times where we have a different kind of generation, people who are not, what would I say? I don't want to label, but it seems like the trend in these times, people are not, they don't, the values that used to be quite important in business back in the days. Some of the values, principles, right? It seems like everybody's like instant now. And even as they want to succeed, they want to see it happen now, they're not ready to do the work. So when you say mindset, some of them have the ginger, some of them have the drive, but there are other things within the space of mindset that they require to be able to succeed. So what would you say about that?
It has to do with discipline, being disciplined. Because if you're not disciplined enough, whatever it is that you need to do, you won't do it anyway. If there are habits that are stopping you from getting to where you want to get to, you have to be able to identify what those habits are so that you can say, okay, this is not serving my higher purpose. Let me do this way and let me do this that way. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. Overnight success doesn't last. Overnight success doesn't even happen overnight. True. Do you understand what I mean? I don't know why they call it overnight, to be honest. Because, you wake up one day and you're hearing Tewa, Tewa, Tewa. But do you know what Tewa's been doing?
She's been doing a lot.
You know what I'm saying? We've been, the Eloy was, since 2009, the magazine since 2003. 19 years of that. Wow. So it's been, success doesn't happen overnight. Yes, success happens when you're consistent and when you're intentional about it. But the big thing is being disciplined. Nothing just happens like that. Because if it happens like that, even the person that is happening to won't appreciate it. And anything that happens just like that goes just like that. Because you're not, like you talked about values, you mentioned values and principles. You won't have built in yourself what should I say, the character to be able to hold on to it, to be able to keep it. It's like money given to you free of charge.
It just go the way it
just goes the way it came.
Yeah. Let's take a break.
Oh, okay.
Let's drink some water. We shall be right back. Stay with us. All right, so if you just tuned in, we are having an amazing chat discussing the role of mindset in business success with Tewa Onasanya. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at Wayshow after one with the hashtag Wayshow. All right, Nama, you wanted to ask a follow-up question.
Okay, so how do we now begin to develop a business mindset?
Big question. The number one thing that I always say, and I say this to myself as well, is do a self-audit. Be aware of yourself. Who are you? People go around and say, oh, I'm this, I'm that. People don't really know who they are.
True.
Who are you? What do you want? What do you like? People want to be rich, yeah, but by how much? People want more money, but how much do you want? People want a new house. How, what kind of house? People want a successful business, but what does a successful business mean to you? Not what it means to me or what it means to your mentor, but what it means to you personally. So the number one thing about with the mindset for success, or as an entrepreneur, is to determine exactly who you are. Who are you? What do you want for your business? Not what the next person is doing, but what do you want for your business? Why do you want your business to succeed? All of those questions, and I call it self-audit, and I do this to myself every quarter or so, because you need to reevaluate yourself. Because the way you were a year ago is, in fact, what am I saying? A month ago is different from the way you are now. Your ideals a few months ago, definitely different from your ideals now. So number one thing is definitely be aware of who you are, identify who you are, what you want, what success means to you. What is a successful business to you? To some people, a successful business might be turning £1 million every week. To some people, it might just be, let me just even turn 1 million naira. Some people, it might be, let me just turn 100,000 naira. What does it mean to you? Not following the crowd, but what does it mean to you?
So you must personalize.
You must personalize
your definition of what your success will look like.
Yes, what your business will look like.
And I think a lot of us don't do that.
It's very important.
I was going to ask that because you see, this thing you talk about, personalizing it, not many people, and this is what you get when you get maybe get put into a small workshop to say they want to train you and all of that. But how effective are those? Because again, it is one thing for you to get trainings as an entrepreneur. It's another thing, like you rightly said, to follow up, to apply them, right? So do you see, have you seen growth, what's it called, histories, like with the people that you have trained over the years? Have you
seen progress?
Have you seen like real what is the score, your score
real
sheet?
Progress.
Real progress, yes.
Yeah. The thing with us is, and I say this with great humility and the fact that we are blessed to be able to get to this point. What we say is we're sustaining women empowerment. Remember I said earlier that we don't want to just have the conversation and it ends there. Anybody that comes onto the Eloy Awards Foundation, sorry I had to mention the name, will be on our database for life unless you opt out. And we're constantly sending you information so that to tweak your mind so that you're learning something. And we have something called the Sustainable Empowerment Program as well, where people on that program go, we have webinars, networking, mentoring, all of these things are available. We want to definitely move away from just talking about it, but doing something about it, taking action about it. If we're saying, okay, yeah, women empowerment, how do we sustain it? This is by us having constant conversations with the people that have come in contact with us. So anybody that's in contact with us, we're always sending newsletters out, we're sending emails out, we're sending webinar details out for you too, and we're always reminding them as well with different information, mentorship as well. So all of these things are things that are really, really needed if we're saying that, okay, we're moving from, and I have to keep references to perspire to aspire.
Right.
Because actually doing.
Absolutely, because I was going to say that, what we have now, I'm an entrepreneur.
Everybody's an entrepreneur.
But there is a clear distinction between a businesswoman
Yes.
Like you are just a market woman. You go to buy market, you sell market. And there is a clear distinction between that and entrepreneurship. But everybody calls themselves an entrepreneur, right? Do we even understand, right? Do they even understand who an entrepreneur truly is? You know, let's even start from the most women, do they really know that they're just traders buying and selling? You know, do they know that? I mean, from your experience with women.
Some of them do, some of them don't. At least most of them call themselves, you know, business owners, which is good, because business owners is like, you know, most people are business owners. When you're moving to entrepreneurship, that's when you're now doing different things, like me.
Yes, I'm putting structures.
Yeah, different things. In fact, let's talk about structures. Part of, you know, knowing who you are, what you want for your business, and the underlying thing is putting a proper structure in place. Even if you're a trader, a structure needs to be in place. This is what we advocate for, and this is what we're always campaigning for. That yes, you're a business owner, have a structure. That is how your business is going to be sustainable. Don't use your personal account for your business and then, you know, be dipping in and out of, you know, your personal account for your business and things like that. You know, have a proper structure in place, even if you have only one staff. It's really, I mean, it's something that has to be taught over and over again. And the funniest thing is, and I say this to myself and to people around me as well, that, you know, when you've gone past a mountain, it would require you to become another level of you to go past another mountain. So we're constantly learning. I think you said that earlier. Evolving, we're constantly learning. So people have to put themselves in that space to be open to constantly learning as well, because you can't grow if you don't learn.
NJ.
So what I'm taking from this, especially when you, you know, clipped on structure, it's a very, you know, it's a very touchy point for me, because I believe that every business, no matter the kind of business it is, and like you said, even in the entrepreneurial world, there is a need for structure, which is how you run things, and a process by which your company or your foundation or your business or your program is known that this is how they operate. This is how they operate.
How you
this
work.
is the process. So, and that is also what helps to, you know, hinge on the integrity of your brand or your company or your business.
Exactly.
Because when people are sure, even when things are changing, people know that, okay, no, we trust them for this, they are known for this. So even if, I believe that if there's a structure for this, it shouldn't be for this business, it shouldn't be used for other businesses. Meaning that each of your businesses
should have their own structure.
A life of its
own. Like an SOP, standard operating procedure.
I know you have a foundation. I know you have an award. I know you have different events.
You have the business clinics.
Yes. So all those programs have different structures because at the end of the day, there are different outputs. To those structures.
And they all have different outcomes. As well, so definitely.
So I was going to ask though, with what NG has said now, shouldn't there be a central point of? So I get it. Every business must have its own life, a life of its own structure, and all of that. But shouldn't there be like a central point to where like all of this tie up? Yes.
So
do you have that?
Yes. Yeah, we do. So like for me, it would be. So we're like a group. And for me, our core is actually me, to be honest. But then again, so when I say that the core is me, we have a core, and everybody knows the core of the business. Like Exquisite is the core of the business. And from the Exquisite, the mother hen, we have the Eloise, we have the cervical cancer, we have the magazine. And then, yes, I do mindset styling. That's actually separate from the Exquisite brand. That's another company. That's Tewa Nosanya. That's another company on its own. So it had to be like that. Otherwise, we're gonna be feeding off it, and that's what we realized when the magazine was the first thing that started, and we talked about evolving. So I evolved into the award ceremony, and then cervical cancer prevention. Everything was under Exquisite before. But when everything started having its own life, it now became necessary that, okay, Eloise has to have its own account. The Foundation for Cervical Cancer has to have its own account, has to have its own people as well, the project managers, the project coordinators. So separate stuff. And it comes from understanding what we want to achieve with the companies.
So
because if we didn't,
because you had defined the success of each of those
one, yeah. So it became, yes, we have the mother hen, but it became very important that, okay, for everything to run the way it's supposed to run, they have to be separated. And yes, they can come together and say, okay, yeah, this is what we do. And everything leads to it. Because the magazine, so we always say that it's powered by the magazine because the magazine is the powerhouse for it. But it was at a point where we understood where we were going. We understood what success meant to us. We understood the structure that we wanted to have in place, the mindset that we want to run the company with. Hence, we're able to do that. And that's what people need to do, because otherwise it becomes all mumble jumble. And nobody's sure what the next thing is, when the next thing is happening, or what, what the next thing is, and things like that.
And you can't even be accountable.
And we won't be accountable. I'm not saying it's perfect, because we're human. We have to leave that room for imperfection and things like that. But at least have that mindset that, okay, you know what? Have direction. I'm starting this business. Let me start as I mean to go on. Is that the word? Mean as start as you mean to go on. Things like that. And that's what we train on. Like what's happening tomorrow, for instance. We're talking about, the structure. So tomorrow's event, it's more about, so we're sustaining women empowerment by doing business showers. And with these events, what we're saying is that, okay, you're a business owner, yeah? There are fundamental things that have to be in place for you to, this business that you've said that you're running, we're not hoping that your business is going to fail in a year or 5 years, which is according to stats. We're hoping that you're going to be able to sustain this business. These are the fundamental things that you need to be aware of and that you need to know as well.
Absolutely. And put in place.
Put in place. The foundation. Know how to sell your market. Everybody is a salesperson. Believe in what you do. Be intentional about the success of your company.
My word.
It might be intentional.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Me too. You might say that it's a small company today, but then again, stop seeing it as a small company and just I'm just doing it. No, it's something that you've decided to put yourself into. You might as well apply everything. So everybody that comes to the business shower gets a toolkit. A business toolkit that gives them information about, different things that they need to run their businesses.
Absolutely.
That's how we keep them, we kind of like keep them in knowledge mode, so to speak, because they have something to take away with them. And we're following up with them as well. The mindset is very, very important.
Sorry,
I talk a lot when I go
I was going to ask you that because, again, somebody is asking the same question around, when do you know that, especially when you have multiple businesses, you know that some will do well, some won't do so well. When is that right time to say, you know what, this is not working, let us close this chapter, let's close this file? Because a lot of us, because we're passionate about what it is we want to deliver, even when we can clearly see the signs that the business in itself is not going as planned, we still hold on to it emotionally. Tawa is rolling her eyes.
I think the first question will be, has she let go of any business? Yes.
And I'm about to say, asking the wrong person. But in saying that, I said earlier that my mindset is if you can think about it, you can do it. And I strongly believe that if I wanted to succeed, then I just have to, put in that extra effort and, be disciplined about what I want to do. But in saying that, though, I tend not to, and I preach this as well, I tend not to change the goal, instead change the direction, the plan that you need to get to it. When we started the magazine, we were print. We printed the magazines every month. The world was evolving into digital. Everybody consumes their news on their newspaper, on their phones, on their we were printing but losing money. People were not buying because people would rather see it on their tablets or on their phones and things like that. So we had to evolve. You evolve or you stay stagnant and die. So evolve, change the direction, change the plan. But if your goal is to run a successful, if your goal is if you see this business as something that is a success,
already,
I strongly advise that you keep at it. Get mentors. Speak to people who have been in the shoes you're walking in so they can advise you. But if within you, you can see no way, because we win and lose in the mind first.
Yep.
If you can see no other direction, then maybe it's time for you to move on.
Move on.
Wow, someone says big energy. I love the discussion on structure for business. It says redefining mindfulness as being self-aware.
Yes.
I mean, she's bringing big energy. She gets it. Okay. Now you have a comment.
Yes, I do. All right, so it says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? #Ways. We already know who you are. The role of mindset in business success. That is the topic for discussion. To have mindset in a successful business, you must have a planned budget. Secondly, you need to believe in your budget for a successful business. If not, the business will not flourish. My name is Daniel Ilo.
Without money, no business.
Daniel has brought another perspective to where does budget come in when you have a business and mindset.
Everything. I would keep saying this from here to Kingdom Come. Everything is about the mindset. Even if you have a budget and you do not believe in yourself or your budget,
like the
nothing's gonna happen.
In Nigeria today,
nothing's gonna happen. You have to strongly believe in it, and that's the number 2 thing I talk about when we're talking about the entrepreneur mindset. Actually, believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. We're selling something every single day as human beings. You have to be able to effectively sell whatever it is you're giving out there to the public, because you started the business because you believe you can solve a problem.
Right.
So you have to be able to talk about it. You have to believe in yourself. And whatever budget, yes, you know, with the environment that we're in, things definitely change. But then again, are you going to give up because things change? You find a way to make it happen. Don't shift, don't change the goal, change the direction. If, you know, yesterday rice was 500 naira and you're a food person, you're a chef or something, you know, food vendor, then you change your pricing. We would understand that the price of diesel has gone up, hence the price is the way it is. But no, first of all, do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your product for you to convince me or speak about it enough?
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about this, because you see, it seems like with businesses, right, mindset is a strong factor that helps you also project your business in the right light. So how many of us, you know, are able to tell the story of our businesses? So you are put in front of an investor, for instance, and you're not able to sell that, you know. So how do you begin to, you know, shift that mindset to say, I don't have, you know, because some people don't believe that they have to be great storytellers. They do not believe that they have to understand the power of presentation. Your look, everything, because it's a brand you're trying to build here, right? So those people that have those mindset that the business will speak for itself, you understand? What would you say to them?
I had that mindset for so long that let people know the business and not me. So for so many years, people didn't know who the magazine owner was. People didn't know who the Eloy Awards founder was. For so many years, we had a PR company that that came to work with the magazine. Just like, you have to put yourself out there. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I'm like, you have to put yourself out there because you are the brand.
Absolutely.
You are the brand. And even though I am a confident person, actually, in real life.
Yes, you are.
I am, right? But to talk about my business, I felt like, and a lot of women feel this way. We feel like, talking about your business feels like you're putting yourself in people's faces and you're being, you're being overly, what's the word? Maybe proud. I know, right? But the funniest thing is, the men go out there and talk about their business. The men go out there and ask for the money. Nobody says, oh, stop talking about your business, stop doing da. So we have to build that confidence, because that confidence is what will get you sitting in front of the investors and telling them XYZ about my company, and this is what I want to achieve. This is why I need your money. This is, it's the confidence. So it needs to be
how
built.
you adding that? Do you infuse that as part of your
Oh yeah, yes. So I'm big on the mindset.
Yeah.
So I take the mindset for entrepreneur. I take that session and it's the beginning of everything, because if the mindset is not right, nothing is going to stick. No, how you think really matters, because some people might start a business, but they're thinking to themselves, will it succeed? You're already killing the business before it even starts. The way you think about the business, because the way you think determines the kind of action you take.
Absolutely.
Because intuition will come into play when you're, when you say that you're doing XYZ in your business. The intuition or your spirit might say to you, call that person person or write that letter to that big company, and you think, big company, no, I can't do this, I can't do that. You've already killed that before you even went into it. Yeah. So it's very, very important to be clear about who you are. And the funniest thing is, yes, I run all these companies. There are things that I'm weak at. And what do I do? Get people who are stronger in those, areas to do those things. So even if you're using your sisters, shout out to the sisters, or your husband or your family, just get whatever it is you're weak at. Structure, whatever it is you're weak at, get. Now I even get my children involved.
Absolutely.
Because they're at that age anyway. So, wherever you feel that you're lacking in, get the support. Don't focus on the lack. Oh, I can't sell, I can't sell, I can't sell. And you tell yourself that over and over again, and you're surprised why you can't sell. Because you've told yourself that, you've told that to yourself so many times.
Wow. Interesting. Finally.
I feel like we had a conference right now.
Mindset about money
one-on-one session.
About money. You know how some people believe that for you to get money, you need to spend money.
Right.
Some people don't believe that.
Oh, wow.
So they don't invest in personal development. They don't pay money to get trained. They don't do any of all of those things. People don't just believe, but I believe strongly that for you to be able to make money, you have to invest in a lot of, and it takes money to spend to be able to get to where you're going. So don't just touch on a bit those people that do not believe that they have to spend money to make
You have
they
to
know
invest
themselves.
in yourself. I mean, you paid money to go into university, didn't you?
Yeah.
If you want to go to Harvard, do you go there and say, excuse me, Harvard, I want to, you have to pay something to get in there. We have to invest in ourselves. Something that my mom always said to me when I was younger and still rings in my head is that she's always talking about your education is your property. Nobody can take it away from you. And I believed it so strongly that even now, acquiring knowledge is like the best thing. Like I know nobody can take it away from you. That investment for you to get to your next level, it's extremely key.
Absolutely.
We don't know it all. So we need that community of people that we can go to and learn from. Yes, you will get some things for free, but then again, how many things do you get for free do you take action on?
Right.
Do you understand what I mean? You can do the Google Mindset for Success,
And
Google
there's so much
XYZ.
there.
There's
You
so
get
many
so much
information,
data.
and you read the information and then, okay.
Moving on.
What happens? Nothing happens. But if you get an accountability partner, even if they are your children, because when I wanted to write my book, I used my children as my accountability partner. Get an accountability partner, even if you can't afford a proper one to pay or anything. Get somebody that would say to you, okay, you said that your business will do X, Y, Z. Where are you? And do it to one another as well. So we're not just, but playing everything by hearsay and then, whatever happens. You need to invest in yourself. It's key. Even if it's, start small. And the funniest thing is once you start investing in yourself and you see the power of it and you will want to do more.
Absolutely.
You will want to do
Absolutely.
more.
On that note, we have 10 seconds.
Wow.
We had a fight. This was a business clinic right here. Thank you so much, Chama. We had an amazing chat. We are hoping to bring you again and again and again.
Yay!
Hopefully you have time for us.
Yay!
After you've gone around your 5 states.
I know, right?
All right, NJ, thank you so much. Thank you, Norma. All right, so before we go, thank you everyone that watched. Before you go, ensure you follow us on Instagram at Wayshow Africa. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media. Like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Your words control your life, your progress, your results, even your mental and physical health. You cannot talk like a failure and expect to be successful. This is from Germany, Kent, right? We'll see you guys live at 8 p.m. tomorrow as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Bye.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408. or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
This is the Greater Lagos Vision, and I'm your host, Love Ikuku Oyedokun. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is confident that 2022 and 2023 will be a harvest period for Lagos State, particularly in the area of infrastructural projects. He says the state government has fast-tracked the completion and delivery of key infrastructure, which includes a motorized mill, 27-kilometer Blue Line, and 32-kilometer Red Line rail projects. The governor was speaking at the opening session of the 17th Executive and Legislative Rally organized for all elected public office holders in Lagos State. This is the Greater Lagos Vision. Welcome once again. I'm your host, Love Ikuku Oyedokun. This episode features Okada ban. Lagos government crushes over 2,000 seized motorcycles. Collapse Ikoyi building. Lagos government commences demolition. Details shortly. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says the ultimate goal of his administration remains that Lagos State becomes one of the top places in the African continent to live, work, and invest. Sanwo-Olu was speaking at the official commissioning and handing over of the reconstructed State Security Service building in Alimosho local government area of the state.
The impact that it's going to have in this area is to give more security to the people of Alimosho local government. And because Alimosho local government is the largest local government in the federation, they have more population than any local government in the federation. And we secure the approval of the governor for the construction of this so that they can provide more security, network, architecture in this local government. And I want to advise the youth to be calm, to not do anything that warrant the security agents to go after them.
The sort of passion the governor of Lagos State attached to security prompted the award of this particular project, knowing fully well that without security we will not be anywhere. It is when there is security you have peace of mind. It is when there is peace of mind you think about what and what do I do for the benefit. I want to appreciate our governor for doing that.
The Lagos State government has commenced the demolition of adjoining structures within the complex of the collapsed 21-story building at Gerrard Road in Ikoyi. Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, stated this at a press briefing. The briefing commenced with a minute of silence observed in honor of those who lost their lives in the unfortunate incident. Top on the agenda was the deconstruction of the two remaining buildings still standing at the premises of the collapsed 21-story building. Commissioner for Information, Gbenga Omotosho, accompanied by his counterparts in the Ministries of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, Tayo Bangboshi Martins, and that of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Idris Salako, told journalists that the construction will commence on the buildings having failed integrity tests.
We are here because of the November 1 incident. Lagos does not pray to ever have that kind of incident again. We are here to the fulfillment of what the panel that was set up after the collapse of that building, what it recommended that the government of Lagos State should do, that those other buildings that are still standing on that site should be brought down, because according to experts, they have failed what they call the integrity test.
Omotosho announced that a stakeholders meeting had previously been held in this regard and all formalities have been completed to hand the complex over to the contractor for the deconstruction. The Commissioner for Fiscal Planning explained that the land would be taken over by government in line with the state fiscal planning law.
Development Law 2019 as amended, Section 74 to be precise. Any property that collapses in Lagos State is automatically forfeited to the Lagos State government. So the property as it is forfeited.
The contractor handling the deconstruction, Theophilus Lewo, allayed fears about safety of workers, saying control methods have been worked out.
We will tie up the slabs first. What does that mean? If we want to cut a section of a slab, maybe 1 meter by 1 meter, we will put steel chains through that slab in about 4 to 6 points, such that it is hooked up. It holds the slab. It sort of suspends the slab, even though we haven't cut it. We will then begin to cut, so that by the time you are cutting, those steel chains have already held up the piece you are cutting, and it doesn't drop.
He said the deconstruction is expected to take 90 days but could be extended due to bad weather. About 2,000 motorcycles have been crushed in the first quarter of the year 2022, so says the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho. At the crushing site in Alausa, he said the crushing of the bikes showed how serious the government is in enforcing commercial motorcycle ban in some areas of the state.
Here are over 2,000 motorcycles, also known as Okadas, being crushed by the Lagos State government. It goes to show the seriousness that the state government attaches to ensuring that the state is rid of Okadas and its menace.
Commissioner for Information, Gbenga Omotosho, and Transport Commissioner, Dr. Frederick Oladende, walked journalists through the crushing site to witness the destruction of the motorbikes.
People have been wondering what we've been doing with the Okadas that have been taken out of town. So for you to see what we have been doing with them, this is why we invited you here today. I'm happy you have seen the way they have been crushed.
Mr. Omotosho says that the government had to take the enforcement seriously due to the excesses of the riders and the alarming rate of road accidents recorded this year alone.
In the first 4 months of this year, we had 1,712 Okada accidents. Of these, 700 of road accidents. Of the 1,712, 767 were due to Okada.
Omotosho, however, called on riders securing to the state ultramodern transport schemes to get actively engaged. Commissioner for Transportation, Frederick Oladende, urged residents to remain calm and obey traffic laws as alternative means of transportation have been provided.
We're putting more high-capacity buses on the road. The government is working around the clock to make sure that our rail system is working. We've increased the number of boats on our waterways, and they should just be calm and move about their daily business.
Chairman of Lagos State Task Force says there is no going back on the enforcement.
We don't see Okadas on the road, on the express any longer. The number has drastically reduced. But I know for sure, and I'm passing this information to them because they are watching us. They might be of the belief that the first 1 week of the enforcement will be thorough. After 1 week, we are going to relax. Anyway, we will watch and see. But I'm passing this message to them that from next week, we will do more
intense enforcement.
With the recent pronouncement and a continued enforcement on the ban, Lagosians hope is not short-lived so that the sanity is sustained. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has declared that his government's commitment to providing quality and affordable education in the state is second to none. Sanwo-Olu was speaking during the launch of the collaboration between Lagos State University and Cornell University, New York, United States, for postgraduate professional certificate programs. The governor said his administration will do everything possible to uphold the outstanding reputation of the state-owned Lagos State University, LASU, and make it one of the 10 best universities in the world. Joining me shortly on this episode of the Greater Lagos Vision is the Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefisayo. She will be giving us more insight into how the present administration is changing the narratives in the educational sector. But that's going to be after this break. Please stay with us. Honorable Commissioner for Education, glad to have you on the program today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited.
Right, we all know that the first leg of Mr. Governor's tenure is winding up just in a matter of months from now. That is something that we are all aware of. But I would like to know from you, would you say that his promise of ensuring quality and affordable education that is second to none to Lagosians, would you say he has fulfilled it or he has lived up to that promise?
You remember when Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu came in, he espoused his themes agenda. The first E there was education and technology. And he promised that year in, year out, he would increase the education budget, which he has done without fail. Every year, the budget grows larger. And every year, he has concentrated on improving the quality of education in the state. He promised that he would attend to all abandoned structures, so there would be no more abandoned structures in the schools, that he would furnish the schools with adequate furniture and a lot of other promises. And he would integrate technology into teaching and learning. All these promises have been met to a large degree. And I think I would like to let you know that, especially in terms of improving education, making classrooms conducive for learning. And when they're conducive for learning, you can then now start working on the other soft skills you need to work on. So I would say that we really have gone far. When Mr. Governor first came in, we concentrated our attention on completion of abandoned projects, and we've done a lot of that across the state, right from, in fact, across the 6 districts in the state. Then we concentrated on improving model school infrastructure by building state-of-the-art boarding houses, complete with laundry room, reading room, and so on for students in our boarding schools. After that, we now decided that, look, it's time for us to now build specific iconic structures that will be for, when people are passing by, they'll say, this one was built by Mr. Governor. So there are about 3 that I would like to mention. The first one is the Elemoro School, which is in Ibejuleki. Ibejuleki is an area where we have very few schools. So when we sat down with the Oba, and we saw that about 12 schools didn't really have a good basic school. You know, it's a new area of Lagos. So we started this it's a brand new school. And in this school, the Elemoro School, we built track and field. We built stadium and seating for spectators. So it's a very, very exciting structure. We're very pleased with it. All the issues we had with our existing buildings, we tried to correct there. Like now there's, when you entered the school before, there was no reception. Now there's a reception so that we are able to attend to parents. They should see, just don't enter school. And a lot of things like that. We included labs, we included all the structures that they would need to be able to operate effectively. That was at Ibejuleki. Now we are coming up with another building which is yet to be commissioned. The Ibejuleki school was commissioned in December, but we now have another one at Agege called the Vetland School, built of containers, and that's an excellent one. You see, this is a green school where we are not on the grid. We are using solar throughout. Every classroom has a smart whiteboard and tablets for all for the students in the class. Sorry, I think there's a ratio of about 1 to 2 in each classroom. And there too, we are building a track and field. We are building a basketball court because we can. After Elemoro, we knew that we couldn't go back and just build a school and just open it. But we had to ensure that a school had all the structures that it needs for it to operate effectively. Another school that we are building in collaboration this time with the wives of, with some of our associations and support groups, is a school in Ogombo where we have actually deliberately built a ramp from the ground floor to the top, so that it'll be an inclusive school where children, even those with physical challenges, can get to the top on their wheelchair. And we've deliberately built toilets and so on, so that they'll be able to effectively use these toilets. So again, we keep on thinking and improving on the existing model. It's not that we just build. And I think that is part of the beauty of what this administration has been trying to do. We take a lot of data in Lagos State. We work with data so that we just don't make decisions based on sentiment. So in collecting data about our students right from entry till exit, we found that there's a significant drop around GS3 to SS1 and SS2 to SS3. And this is because many of them have a need to work to earn a living. They start earning a living or they start learning a craft with a master, or as they call it. So we said, look, let's do something. Let them stay. We understand this need is very important. How do we address this need? So we set up what we call comprehensive schools. And the governor approved a pilot of 12 schools. So in 12 of our schools, we set up these schools. And these schools are running vocational programs within school, so that rather than leave school and start wandering the streets or looking for menial jobs here and there, come in, we will train you and give you really first-class training. And that is what we have been doing. And so those teachers, if you look at the board, I don't know if it's possible for you to look at the screen, but you see this screen in front of me. This is why it is on all the time, because it's the framework for the comprehensive schools program. So apart from the fact that we will teach them vocational skills like Agric, ICT, fashion, building and construction, and so on, we are also teaching them soft skills. And we know the teaching of soft skills like financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and so on is not something that is easy for teachers taught in a very formal setting. So we too entered into a relationship with a city called Tampere in Finland. I know that Finland is well known for the quality of its schools. What people don't understand is that their vocational schools are also excellent. But their methodologies of teaching, the pedagogy of the classroom is really exciting. And the students learn, and you see the joy of teaching and learning. So we sent our teachers there to learn from them, to study them in the classroom, to absorb the atmosphere and learn the skills by which they will teach these children all these soft subjects. They're not teaching physics, chemistry, and so on. It's a totally different ballgame. So you have to give them the skills. And that was why we sent them to Finland. And they came back really enthusiastic. And they've hit the road run. If you go to any of those classrooms, they are teaching collaboratively, they are using technology to teach, they are creative, they are innovative, they're solving problems, they are planning, and so on. And so from there, they'll be able to do things like set up their own businesses very quickly, in addition to learning the skill that they want to learn. Every child has a chance to have a marketable skill. When they leave us, like for instance, let me pick one of them. Like I said, it's on the board. The framework is on this screen in front of me. So let's say I pick something like a child does fishery. He's not going to do it at a very basic level. He'll do it at the best possible level, taught by the teachers who went to Finland. So he'll do fishery, and we are doing this in collaboration with technical partners. In this case, it's IITA who we are working with, as well as our own Greek teachers. So we do fisheries. And apart from fisheries, The student will do financial literacy, understand how to plan for themselves financially. They'll do entrepreneurship and employability. They'll be able to set up the business, write a proposal, write a letter to the bank, ask for money from the bank. We'll teach them personal leadership skills. We'll work on their communication, presentation skills, public speaking, even dressing and etiquette. Can you imagine somebody comes to you and says, oh, I'm a plumber, and the person just starts speaking, and you see, this is a neat, smart, clever person who writes his invoice, writes, or asks for a loan in the bank. We'll give them digital literacy skills, soft, and each one of them has a tablet on which we've loaded these soft skills. These soft skills are not skills you teach in the class per se, like lessons. They are going to self-pace themselves. And we are working with a Finnish company called Fonzai, and they are following up to ensure that the students are learning all along. So by the time they are done, and someone says, I came out of Lagos State, and I'm an expert in photography and videography, you will know that this is an excellent person. What we've asked them, and some of them have given us, they've shared their curriculum with us. They've trained our teachers on how to teach these subjects. Some have provided internship opportunities, even work opportunities at the end. The internship opportunities, for some, it includes a small stipend. And so we're working with professional bodies, with NGOs, international organizations. It's a whole, I think it's a great way of, it's a great, what can I call it, case study for government collaborating openly, transparently with the private sector and allowing the private sector to drive certain things. Like the entrepreneurship and employability is by an NGO called Junior Achievement, and they're going to set up companies, and they started doing that. What they're doing, they're designing their logos, naming their company. So let's say all of us are learning makeover, barbering, hairdressing, makeup, then we set up our company and we start working. Because like I said, we want them to earn an income early. So it's a practical, hands-on way of learning that will give them a skill, a lifelong skill. We had to do a lot of stakeholder management, because we had to let them know that it doesn't mean the child is not intelligent. Intelligence is something that is multifaceted. Some people are good at English and so on. Some people are good at drawing. That's their intelligence. There's this Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. And that's what we base this on, that, look, people have multiple intelligences. What if my intelligence is with my hands? What if I'm a great fashion designer? I don't have to know physics to be a great fashion designer. So we talked a lot, and the interesting thing about those schools, because we are only doing it in 12 schools now, though Mr. Governor has challenged us to go for 50 by September. You see, in those 12 schools, whenever you go around and talk to the head of school, they say, oh, school is very quiet. Because those children who were bored, who did not enjoy normal class, they're having a great time. And don't forget that the methodology of teaching is so interesting and engaging that they are learning a lot. I think it's a great one. I would allow my child to learn this. And so something like this comprehensive school system is to ensure that they have the skills that the private sector needs. I assure you that all of the skills that we're teaching them, we are not doing it in the normal didactic, theoretical manner, no. And we came up with a curriculum together with private associations. Like plumbers told us, this is what we want a plumber to know. Fashion designers told us, this is what we want a fashion designer to know. So all these things are taught practically. And so this is our own first step towards ensuring that people who live this system do have the essential skills of success in the world they're going to live in. The meaning of EcoExcel is excellence in children's education. And this program was introduced in order to improve teaching and learning in primary schools. What we've done is that working with technical partners, we reviewed our schemes of work. It's our own scheme of work, not anybody else's. And we put it on tablets for our teachers. So really, our teachers don't have to do much work with writing lesson notes. But if they read it up, they study it well, week in, week out, the way they'll teach was seriously improved, because we included exercises, teamwork, collaboration, all those things we talk about as being 21st century skills. So that's what we've been doing with EcoExcel. It's going on in all our classrooms. All the teachers have tablets with which we support their teaching in the classroom. It's not meant to be read from directly. It's meant to support and improve the engagement of the learners in the classroom. It's meant to give them examples of exercises that you can do, and so on and so forth. So it's really in place, and we've done a monitoring and evaluation of it and found that the literacy levels are very high. The children are actually reading from primary 1, which was the objective. I mean, children can read across all levels. They should read in primary 1. Age appropriate, I mean, you know, you're not expecting them to be reading long, long words, but by primary 1, they should be able to read well, so that by 6, they are fluent readers. And that was the main objective. And of course, that they are good in numeracy as well.
Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner for Education, for your time with us today on the Greater Lagos Vision. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That's all we have for you in this episode of the Greater Lagos Vision on Plus TV Africa. I'm Love Ikuku Oyedoku. Bye for now.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from
On Plus TV News now. Senate probes Shell over alleged joint venture agreement violation. Senate passes PPP Regulatory Commission bill. African Union denounces dishonest Sudan talks. Good evening, I'm Olamide Adeyemi. This is the news now. The Nigerian Immigration Service has launched an enhanced electronic passport center at the Immigration Office in Benin City. Unveiling the center, the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, said applicants will no longer need the services of third parties in obtaining passports and warned against any form of sharp practice. On their part, the state governor and the Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Services lauded the federal government's approach to eradicating passport racketeering.
The significant aspect of this event, I must state, is the commission of a centralized passport production center in these premises, who shall take care of all the passport production activities of all the various passport offices in Asaba and Wari. The purpose of this is to have a much more coordinated passport production process that is expected to increase the rate of delivery.
I'm asking, therefore, that the Nigerian Immigration Service do everything within its power to make this a thing of the past. What we are doing here today has removed all obstacles from passport applicants. I have now on this new platform 10,000 passports here.
This action will not only help ease the application process and the processing and production of passports in our state for use by our residents, but which will also help our brothers in our neighboring Delta state. Every Nigerian who has had to obtain a passport will attest to the fact that the process was hitherto slow, tedious, and plagued by touts and other corrupt practices. I join with the Minister of Interior to say that we are in total solidarity with you to stamp out touting.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has received a formal request from President Muhammadu Buhari to confirm Mohammed Bello Shehu as chairman of the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The request was contained in a letter read by President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, at plenary today.
Revenue Commission, in accordance with the provision of Section 154, subsection 1 of 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I am pleased to forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Mohammed Bello Shehu as the Chairman, Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. His CV is attached herewith. It is my hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominee in the usual expeditious manner. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
In a related development, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan also forwarded President Buhari's request to confirm the nomination of Juaniko Michael Hane for appointment as Substantive Director General for the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission to the Committee on Works. Also forwarded was the President's request for the confirmation of Umar Yahya as co-chairman of the Governing Council of Unclaimed Funds to the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions. But nominees are expected to appear before the relevant committees for screening. The respective committees were given 2 weeks to report to the Senate in plenary. Now, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan has said that the upper chamber will next week Wednesday screen the 7 ministerial nominees forwarded to the chamber by President Muhammadu Buhari for confirmation. Lawan stated this in an announcement today, moments before the Senate adjourned plenary. According to him, the ministerial nominees will be screened on Wednesday next week. President Buhari, in a letter dated the 15th of June 2022, requested the Senate to confirm the nomination of 7 ministerial nominees. The nominees will be screened individually by the upper chamber during plenary. Still in the Senate, today a plenary passed the Public-Private Partnership Regulatory Commission Bill 2022. Also passed was the Chartered Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering of Nigeria Bill 2022. The passage of the bill followed the consideration and adoption of 2 separate reports of the Committee on Works and Establishment and Public Service. Upon its passage and assent into law, the bill will provide the necessary legal regime for the effective specialization, standardization, and professionalism of the field of engineering in Nigeria. However, the report on the Public-Private Partnership Regulatory Commission Bill 2022 was presented by Senator Adamu Alero. Alero said the bill sought to strengthen and enhance the supervisory role of the Commission and effectively position it in regulating the participation of the public and private sectors. The Senate today at plenary constituted an ad hoc committee to investigate Shell Petroleum Development Company over non-compliance with the Petroleum Act and violation of joint venture agreements entered into with the federal government. The ad hoc committee was mandated to investigate the oil mining lease granted to SPDC between 1959 to 1989 and 1989 to 2019 under the SPDC and NNPC joint venture agreement. The committee, constituted by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan, has Senator Sabi Abdullahi, APC Niger, as the chairman. Now, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has reversed the ruling by the Deputy Speaker, Ahmed Wase, on the move by the Parliament to override the veto by the President on Section 84, subsection 8 of the Electoral Act 2022. The National Assembly had amended the section to provide for statutory delegates at the meeting, congresses, and conventions of political parties. Wasiad on Tuesday stepped down the motion moved by a member of the House, Ben Igbagba, to ask that the Parliament invoke its powers under Section 58, subsection 5 of the 1999 Constitution by overriding the President's veto on the bill. The Deputy Speaker had argued that the House could not override the veto through a motion, but a reconsideration of the bill. The House of Representatives has come up with a resolution that will compel the federal government to approve firearms for local vigilantes to aid the fight against insurgency, banditry, and kidnapping in the country. The resolution, amongst others, followed a motion of urgent national importance on the sorry state of insecurity in the country, especially the recent adoption of a traditional ruler in Plateau State. The Green Chamber also urged the federal government to direct the Inspector General of Police, Chief of Defense Staff, and other relevant security agencies to immediately do everything possible to ensure the safe release of the district head of Panion and others in kidnappers' captivity across the country. The reports.
Insecurity has become an everyday occurrence in the country, as no day passes without news of one kidnapping or the other. The recent adoption of a traditional ruler by armed bandits in Plateau State seems to have triggered wild condemnation by federal lawmakers in the Green Chamber. Solomon Marin brought the motion on the kidnapping of the traditional ruler from Plateau, His Royal Highness Aminu Darwan, by heavily armed bandits who were shooting indiscriminately in the early hours of Monday. He called on the House to summon the Inspector General of Police, the Army, as well as other relevant security agencies to find out why this trend has continued unabated.
Early this year, the Sumpiam, a paramount ruler of Gendri Chiefdom, and the district head of Pushit were both at separate attacks abducted by miscreants and bandits, which were, however, released after huge ransom were paid. Further aware that bandits have taken their dastard acts to highways, villages, and even cities, including some parts of the Federal Capital Territory. Concerned that the spate of kidnapping, abductions, and attacks has been systematic, well-coordinated, and targeted across the constituency, the state, and indeed the country, which is alarming and of grave concern.
Federal lawmakers, while condemning the attacks as well as the state of insecurity in the country in general, also made some amendments to the motion.
There is nothing that will happen. I have it here in my handset. At times they give the direction and even where they are meeting. But it's the implementing agency. Even if you are going to recruit the entire villages now and give them this light arms, somebody carrying an arm, a gun that can discharge 100 bullets in one round, how will you face him? AK-47, how will you face him? One life matters a lot. I shouldn't disclose possibly certain things, but because somebody is sick, I'm telling you sincerely, our people are committed. We have lost a number of them. They are not worried because they are defending their land.
The Borno model that I want to recommend for the state governments in the various affected states to equally fund and support is the formation of a very robust vigilante groups that are going to be armed, not necessarily with sophisticated weapons like AK-47, with pump action guns.
The motion was unanimously adopted when it was put to vote by the Speaker, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, at plenary.
The national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu, has expressed concern over the wave of defections of federal lawmakers in the party to opposition parties. This was today after a closed-door meeting with party members at the National Assembly. Adamu admitted that while the party is worried about the gale of defections, nothing can be done about it. According to him, defections are normal during an election year, as those who feel dissatisfied with the outcome of party primaries are free to test their popularities in other political parties.
Well, it's an unfortunate development when it happens.
But this is a season for all manner of behavior in the political space in the country. And this is not, Nigeria is not an exception. In every election year, this kind of sub-step, give cause for people, stakeholders to sneeze. This is what we're experiencing. Nigeria is no exception, and the APC is no exception. I don't give a damn what's happening in other parties. I care what happens in our party. But you and me know that it's not just the APC that's having this experience, this situation. Because we are the ruling party, yes, our problems are more prominent in the public glare. No responsible leader will not worry losing one member, not talk of 2 or 3. At the moment, we know we are faced with the stark reality of their problems. And we have committed with my colleagues in the National Working Committee to face the problems squarely and see the problems that are solvable, we'll solve them.
2 senators from Bauchi and Imo State have resigned their membership of the APC and PDP respectively. The lawmakers are Senator Dauda Jika, representing Bauchi Central and elected on the platform of the APC, and Senator Izenwe Francis Onyewuchi, representing Imo East Senatorial District, who was elected on the platform of the PDP. Both senators, in separate letters addressed to the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, today conveyed their decisions to resign their membership of the APC and PDP to join the Labour Party and the New Nigeria People's Party, respectively. The APC lawmaker Dauda Jika defected from the APC to the New Nigeria People's Party. The PDP lawmaker Ezenwe Francis defected from the PDP to the Labour Party. Today's defection brings the number of APC senators to 66, with members of the minority parties standing at 43.
I wish to inform Mr. President and distinguished senators of my defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the Labour Party, LP. This is after due consultation with my family, constituents, and supporters. This will enable me to participate fully in the movement for a new Nigeria. Accept the assurance of my highest esteem, signed Senator Ezenwe Onyewuchi. I hereby wish to notify you of my defection from the All Progressives Congress APC to the New Nigeria People's Party, whose ideals is in line with my political aspirations. Please accept the assurances of my esteemed personal regards. Signed, Senator Haliru Dauda Jika, FNSE, Doka Jimbauchi.
The governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in Delta State, Olorogo Kenneth Gbagi, has called on Nigerians to support presidential candidates for the southern part of the country. Gbagi made this statement when speaking to our Asaba correspondent Apomajero Friday in his hometown in Ogeli, the administrative headquarters of Ogeli South local government area of Delta State. Gbagi said we need to bring government to South for 8 years and take it back to North for another 8 years, calling on all professionals and Christians across the South to support a candidate from the southern region.
He told me 5 years ago that Okowa is lying to me. And I told him I'm ready to part ways with him. I believe Okowa. But Okowa has proven he can get right. So what I'm saying to you is that I am a Southerner. I support and I ask all Southerners, I ask all the churches, I ask all the teachers, I ask all the pensioners, I ask everybody that have any gumption of understanding of life. If you do not support the shift from the north to the south, your children will die as slaves. Yes. We cannot. We all own this country. We believe in this country. I don't hate any northerner, but we agree. Once north, one south. On principle, Okowa cannot use me to do anything. Nobody in this world, and he knows, can use me to do anything except God. In fact,
One of the reasons why Okowa, after 7 years of agreement, decided to do what he's doing now, I think washing it, that he says economic.
However, he noted that present Governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, cannot control him as a governor of the state, as it was alleged by Sodetos. The new governor-elect in Ekiti State, Biodun Oyebanji, has promised to deliver the dividends of democracy to residents of the state. Oyebanji said this in Ado-Ekiti when he received the certificate of return as governor-elect of Ekiti State at the INEC State Secretariat. In his address, the resident electoral commissioner in charge of Ekiti, Oyo and Lagos, Sam Olumeke, who commended the performance of the bimodal voters accreditation system during the election, also hailed security agents for playing a pivotal role in the success of the election.
The turnout during the election was equally comparatively better than the previous elections. May I use this forum to call on Nigerians to be alive to their civic responsibility by coming out to vote for candidates of their choice during the elections. I must therefore commend the good people of Ekiti State for their peaceful conduct during the election. Other candidates who contested the election but lost also deserve to be praised for their gallantry.
And to Ekiti, I thank you all for investing your trust in us, in our party. What is happening today is historic in Ekiti State. This is the first time that a government is succeeding itself. And I make bold to say that this is made possible by the stellar performance of Okowa because June 18 was a referendum on Okowa as governor of the state. And Ekiti State came out and validated the fact that he has done so well.
The light is here, and we pray that with this new government, it's going to bring in a lot of innovations in governance. It's going to also bring in the experience of his youthfulness and the dynamism, and of course, the asset that is carrying forward from the outgoing government.
Governor-elect Biodun Oyebanji, who was accompanied by the First Lady of Ekiti State, Erulu BC Fayemi, promised to build on the legacy of the outgoing administration in the state. Oyebanji also hailed residents of the state for a peaceful democratic process, which culminated in his election on June 18. Moving on, Governor Gboyega Oyetola of Osun State has reassured the people of Osun State that his government will bring loftier programs and execute more projects if elected for another term. Oyetola stated this while addressing journalists during the continuation of his campaign tour to Borikwe and Ifelodun local government area of the state. Speaking on the landslide victory recorded by the APC in Ekiti State, Oyetola said it is a clear demonstration of the popularity and acceptance of the party among the people. He expressed confidence that the same victory will be recorded by the party in next month's governorship election in Osun State.
Osun will believe in continuity, and by any standard, I've done very well, by any standard. So I will expect that people will support me to continue to do what I'm doing for them. So I look forward to winning the election on 16th of July, 2022, by the grace of Almighty God.
We are ready, and I can tell you that if the use of thugs could be eliminated, if rigging could be eliminated, if snatching of ballot boxes could be eliminated, we don't have opposition. We are winning this election. With what Mr. Governor has done, with what the party has done, with the humility on the side of Mr. Governor, I think the people of Osun State, and I know and I believe that people of Osun State are ready to return Alhaji Isa Gboyega Oyetola for a second.
By the performance of our governor for the 3 years he has been in office, we are very confident that he has delivered the dividends of democracy to our people, and that our people are yearning to have him more next time around.
Despite paucity of funds in the state, Mr. Governor has empowered more women, giving them political appointments, recruitment in the recent teachers recruitment, and a number of other empowerment. Women are particularly happy. There is money, going around for market women, and people have been able to invest in their businesses. Mr. Governor has empowered our youth. They have given them money to invest and start up their businesses. And people are thriving. Businesses are thriving and people are happy.
And Shagamu stakeholders in Ogun State have staged a protest against the incessant killings among cult members in the community. Earlier last week, 10 men were reportedly killed as suspected cultists went on rampage. The group condemned the act and also high rates of unemployment despite numbers of companies domiciled in the community. Hence maintains that any company with no community license officer will be dealt with.
Without any fear or favor, it is disheartening and disgusting to say that Shagamu has become a centerfield for cult-related activities and killing. Many stakeholders and community leaders have come up with different ideas, scopes, and way forward to end these menace. But it is very unfortunate to state that all efforts on the sensitization, peace, and reconciliation process are proving abortive and seems as if there is no solution to this menace. The rise in cult killings in Shagamu have come to a peak of communal shame for Shagamu and the community of towns and cities in Nigeria. Therefore, at this meditational and conscious point, there is absolute and compulsory need for every Shagamu sons and daughters, including residents, as a matter of must rise up, raise their voice against every act of cult killings in Shagamu and not minding whose ox is God. Enough is enough. These are the more reasons why government at all levels, security agencies, our others, balance, and community leaders, youth leaders, and other stakeholders must come together and join forces to battle cult killings and ensure a compulsory reconciliation between all the warring groups as it has become necessary. Above all, it is high time we right the wrongs as the high rate of unemployment has really contributed to the violence, unrest, proliferation of cultism, drug abuse, and other social vices in our town.
Meanwhile, they visited the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company office in Shagamu against unlawful imposition of outrageous billing despite epileptic supply. Ahead of the International Widows' Day, a human development initiative has rendered support to widows and the vulnerable people in the society. Executive Director of HDI, Olufunsho Owasonoye, who led her team at the Baptist Church in Yaba area of Lagos State, says the gesture is meant to alleviate the hardship the widows go through. Paul George tells us more on this report.
In every society, there are women of all ages whose husbands have died, leaving them vulnerable. The underprivileged widows and vulnerable children constitute a significant component. It is no surprise that these vulnerable ones have converged on this church. The economic situation of the country leaves much to be desired and have greatly impacted on their daily lives. Olufunsho Owasonoye leads the Human Development Initiative. She speaks of her drive and why it has become necessary to show support.
As of that 25 years ago, there were this set of people, vulnerable group, that I would say neglected. That most people, it's like you, just go and sit down there. So early then, it was my husband and I, we used to go to churches and some of these, where they have widows group, to talk to them about will or even what they can do before their husband dies. We empower them through vocational skills, bead making, catering, all sorts of empowerment to make themselves reliant. Then we give education scholarship to their children from nursery to federal university. As of today, we have 75 in university, almost 500 in from nursery to primary school. And I want to use this medium to say a big thank you to our donors and partners.
As admonitions are reeled out, the widows here are encouraged to be prudent and advised to put God first as the future is bright.
I'm going to begin by telling you that if I am not prudent, I think I would have been lost. I would have been lost. and all my children would have been lost also. We all are widows. We are all alone, only on our own, that we are the favorites in the God's heart. God loves the widows. And once you keep yourself for God, God will always be with you.
One of the donors expresses delight in supporting the initiative, while the beneficiaries are appreciative of the gesture.
We always partner with them. Not only them, other different groups of widows associations in various areas. We've made provision for 250 people. All of a sudden, today happens to be a lot of people that came. The expected crowd, they brought their friends and whatnot. So they are ranging about 300 and above 300.
I'm a widow of 8 children. So they say they will assist me, they will help. I never believe it. The good work they started, and the Lord who made them to start this war shall fulfill long life, prosperity, and health.
They call us to come and attend this meeting today for this Jesus wife meeting. We pray for them and God give them power to make sure that they remember us every year by year, and God will give them the power and knowledge to be doing this for us.
One of the high points of the event was the presentation of gift items to the beneficiaries. Paul, George. In every society, there are women of all.
On the news tonight is Jennifer Omotayo Thomas, Vice President, Widows and Orphans Support Society of Africa. Glad to have you on the news tonight.
It's a pleasure.
Now, marking International Widows Day 2022, what can you say is the situation of widows in Nigeria? And the theme of this year, Sustainable Solutions for Widows' Financial Independence. How can this be achieved?
That's why we celebrate this Widows Day every 23rd of June. It's a United Nations program. And looking at more widows joining the previous one, we cannot say that the problem has actually been eradicated, because there are some widows that can take care of themselves, and we have a lot of widows that can't even take care of themselves, because even before their husband died, they were doing petty things. Now remember that a responsibility that 2 people were managing to carry, and all of a sudden, it's just 1 person. And maybe the woman is having 8 children, 5, even to cater for 1 in our present economic situation. It's not easy. How much more when you have more than 1, and you need to clothe, you need to feed, you need to send them to school. Some of these men died without even leaving a house. And even when some have left houses, the family of the man comes and confiscate everything. And the women are just out there without support. And that is why NGOs like ours are calling for good Nigerians to partner with all these NGOs and churches and other religious bodies to help these widows, because it's not really easy for them. Even though I'm not a widow, but I'm a woman and I see these things. There's hardly a day we don't find 1 widow, 2 widows in our main office.
All right, so according to the theme for 2022, it says Sustainable Solutions for Financial Independence for Widows. What are the sustainable solutions?
Basically, giving money to a woman is not enough. They need to acquire skills, how to manage funds that are being given to them, think of good business ideas that they can do with this support they get. Remember, if you give someone fish today, you don't expect to be given another day. But if you know how to catch the fish yourself, you are better off. So what we do as a foundation, we equip these women Like last year, we helped them to go through skills like bead making, soap making, catering, things that could help to put food on their table. And that is the only way they can sustain.
Now, in what ways can we ensure the protection of widows in Nigeria? I think that's why the day was set aside.
Yes. Another way we can protect them is to be consigned. Because we see a lot of gathering for the widows. But I'm here to see the government putting some laws. Because culturally, they are at a great disadvantage.
Okay.
Like I keep telling people, I said, if the government passes a law that states when the man dies, no woman prays for her husband to die, because we all know the problem that will follow. These women should not be left without anything. They should be given all what the husband left behind, because it belongs to them. The man must have left children and wife. And even if they don't have children, because that woman was once married to that man, she owns those things, and they should not be taken away from them. And if anyone is sanctioned or a family is dealt with, others will stop. And these women will be catered for.
Now, like you have said earlier, culturally, they are at a disadvantage.
A very great
now,
disadvantage.
Can this narrative be changed in a country like Nigeria?
That's why I said it's only the law. Okay. Because why is it that when a woman dies, the husbands are not made to drink the water that they use in bathing the woman? Oh. Why is it that it's only when the man dies, the woman is addressed as a witch? The man is a human being. The woman is a human being. That's why we are calling for gender equality. Oh. So they shouldn't be treated as a second-class citizen.
All right. Finally, before we round up this segment, what's your advice to widows in Nigeria, especially for this year's celebration?
My advice to widows, even before your husband is gone, get something doing. And even when the man is gone, ensure that you have things you have kept for yourself. And like what I used to advise widows attached to our foundation, don't wait for anybody. As we help you to start up, don't waste that money. Like during the Easter period, we gave them money to add to their business. We have welcome back to school for their children every September. We give clothes. We give food items. But if you have a business as a widow, groom your business and think of more business ideas that will boom your business, make you an independent woman, and you'll be able to take care of your children without any man molesting you.
All right. Thank you so much for your contributions on the news tonight. Jennifer Omotayo Thomas, she is the Vice President, Widows and Orphans Support Society of Nigeria. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Thank you.
Moving on, when an ocean surge washed away Moreni Sani Alakije's house in 2011, he took a loan to build a home farther away, but that is no longer safe as the sea creeps inland in Okowa, a neighborhood in Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos. Hundreds of other residents have watched helplessly as tidal waves devour their homes, which experts say is a product of rising sea levels linked to climate change. Government leaders will meet at the Commonwealth of Nations Summit in Rwanda this week to discuss the plight of residents and other issues. Africa has also contributed very little to climate-warming greenhouse gas emissions, but its residents are among the most vulnerable to the fallout from the planet's warming, a United Nations climate panel said in February.
Two eyes, people. 2 o'clock you can come and wash. 3 o'clock you can come and who knows the time the water should come? Carry person in.
They stop, they come out. The place where they stay before, the water don't carry that place. So we just collect this place, and the water is still disturbing. That's why we put all these things there. Entering our houses, spoiling many things. So we are just managing.
And these communities, they can expect help around building nature-based solutions that will protect them from the ocean. Mangroves can protect them from the ocean. Nigeria is a member of the Mangrove Action Group. The Mangrove Action Group helps bring back mangroves, natural, nature-based defenses against storms, against climate change. Tackling the ocean and climate change at Chogum is a priority. We will be announcing a project incubator to support countries with their ocean and climate change projects. We have more than $400,000 set aside to begin to help countries with their ocean and climate projects.
In an effort to guarantee hygienic practices to ensure the safety and suitability of food consumption practices in Kano State, the Standard Organization of Nigeria, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, has engaged farmers, processors, and other stakeholders in the agricultural value chain in the state. The workshop focused on the use of Codex Alimentarius standards for the codes of practice for farmers, food processors, and others in the value chain. It sought to enlighten stakeholders in the agricultural value chain to adhere to the Codex standard and codes of practice.
SME, that's small and medium enterprises, processor, and farmers. So that is why Kano is one of the states picked for the workshop, is to build capacity of farmers, build capacity of processors, and to ensure food safety in Nigeria.
It's necessary for both manufacturers, users to understand the standard. If you don't have that knowledge, you may be doing things wrong. Like some of the things we've learned from the lecture this morning. They told us even those frying even though they will fry, when you continue using that oil, you finish with one set, you go again the following day, maybe for 2 weeks. You find out that it will generate what we call cancer. And it's knowledge. But most of us will do these things out of ignorance. Even in farming, it's not all, what do you call it, fertilizer. It is fertilizer.
Not giving recognition to standard. And it's causing a lot of problems in the issue of outbreak of disease. When the food are not safe, the CDT will cause problems and it reduce productivity by causing economic loss. And also, it's also reducing the rejection. How Nigerians have known identified for our integration of our products in the international markets. So, as a country, we don't want them to continue.
Issue of
Alimentarius is a collection of internationally recognized standards, codes of practice, guidelines, and other recommendations published by the Food and Agriculture Organization relating to food production, food labeling, and food safety. Now, the International Organization of Migration, IOM, with Search for Common Ground, SFCG, and Mercy Cause are collaborating on the pilot project contributing to the mitigation of conflicts over natural resources between famine-headed communities in Adamawa State, Nigeria, or in short, committees. To contribute to the mitigation of conflicts over natural resources, on June 22nd, IOM, its partners, stakeholders, and government officials converged in Abuja for the second high-level project steering committee meeting to provide project updates and share lessons learned and findings aimed at improving trust in authorities and enhancing collaboration between farmers and herders communities. Joining us on the news tonight is Amos Nderi, Project Manager, Committee's Projects. Glad to have you, Mr. Amos. Good evening, Mr. Amos. Amos, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good evening. Now, looking at the situation in the northern areas of Nigeria, what do you think is the major cause of farmer-herder conflicts, apart from, of course, expansion of human settlements and privatization of land?
Thank you very much for having me.
There are many factors.
Okay.
There's also the issue of climate change and the environmental degradation that is going on there. And as we know, the savanna is becoming drier and drier, and the desert is encroaching. At the same time, the methods of farming and animal keeping need to be modernized. They're still trying, doing the old ways of grazing in the open and also doing shift cultivation. And this type of things are not sustainable in a modern setting where we have higher population. You need to really maximize on land use. And even land management is also another issue that is affecting the communities where they are not able to manage the land properly, and then they have a lot of tensions which escalate into conflict.
All right, now, so we have the Committee's project. How does the IMOM intend to address intercommunal perceptions, especially what the media brings out?
In terms of media, we train media professionals on how to do conflict-sensitive reporting. And they also are taught how to promote messages that are focused on peace building and social cohesion. That's how we try and make sure that the media is responsible. And also, we also have radio stations where there are programs aired that talk about the crisis and how to mitigate it and to prevent violence from escalating at the community level.
All right. So finally, before I let you go, early warning and early response system have been some of the issues that have actually been causing more violence in the region. How does IOM intend to address these issues?
Thank you. So with early warning, early response, what we're doing is across the communities, we are trying to create a system where people share information. They meet regularly in various committees at the ward, LGA, and state level, and they discuss issues that are related to peace. And when they see something happening and they see that this is going to become, has the potential to become a threat, they're able to resolve it before it becomes worse. Therefore, you find a lot of the issues are resolved early, and therefore you don't find the escalation to violent clashes and things like that happening.
All right, so thank you very much for your contributions on the news tonight. Amos Nderi is the project manager, Committee's project. Thank you very much. Still ahead, Ukraine may get EU candidate status. Details when we return.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
Moving to other parts of Africa, Prince Charles laid a wreath today at a memorial to the 1994 genocide in Rwanda during the first visit to the country by a British royal. He and his wife Camilla posed in silent tribute at the Kigali Genocide Memorial, the final resting place for more than 250,000 victims of the massacres almost 3 decades ago. They signed a note of remembrance to accompanying a raid of white followers. They also spoke with survivors of the genocide, in which some 800,000, mainly Tutsi people, were murdered by Hutu extremist forces over about 100 days between April and July 1994. Moving on, the African Union has said it will not be a party to talks that exclude significant actors in an effort to get Sudan's transition back on track after last year's military coup. Sudan's main civilian players have so far boycotted talks with military leaders launched under international auspices earlier this month on reaching a political accommodation that will enable the restoration of desperately needed Western aid. The AU explains that it is now refusing to participate in certain activities because of the opacity and lack of respect for the participants in this dialogue, which was launched at the beginning of June and is supposed to put the country back on the path to democracy. The government of Guinea-Bissau has suspended the mayor of the capital, Bissau, for alleged corruption in a land sale and failure to pay employee pensions. Mayor Liu Inter-Chama had been in office since April 2021. He is a member of the Social Renewal Party, a formation belonging to the presidential coalition, whose leaders are in friction with the camp of the head of state, Umaru Sissoco Embalou. The mayor was suspended along with 2 of his collaborators, his first deputy and the secretary general of the municipal institution. Mr. Inter-Chama was replaced by Fernando Mendes, a member of a party belonging to the presidential camp. The mayor of Bissau has since 1994 been appointed by the government. And outside Africa, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen today said Ukraine deserves the candidate status a day before European Union leaders are set to review an EU executive proposal to accept assessing the former Soviet Republic's membership bid. Von der Leyen added that it was now up to Ukraine and fellow declared candidates Moldova and Georgia to make progress. EU decision puts Kyiv on course to realize an aspiration that would have been out of reach just months ago. Our 3 ex-Soviet hopefuls are far poorer than existing EU members, with per capita outputs around half that of the current poorest, Bulgaria. They also have recent histories of volatile politics, organized crimes, and conflict with Russian-backed separatists.
Our opinion stems from a careful and thorough assessment on the reality on the ground. And this evidence tells us that Ukraine, the opinion of the Commission, deserves a European perspective. It deserves the candidate status, of course, on the understanding that the country will carry out a number of further important reforms. How far Ukraine, Moldova and Georgia will come and how quickly they proceed will depend first and foremost on their actions and their progress. It's a merit-based approach. But how we respond to their passion and their progress is our choice and ours only. This Parliament has clearly spoken loud and audible, and I would like to thank you for that again. It is now up to the European Council to decide and to live up to the historic responsibility we are confronted with.
Russia and Turkey agreed to continue discussing a potential safe corridor in the Black Sea to export grain from Ukraine after talks in Moscow. Talks were led by generals assigned to operate a hotline between Ankara, Moscow, and Kyiv to seek a solution to the crisis. Ukraine is one of the top wheat suppliers globally, but its shipments have been altered by what Russia calls its special military operation in Ukraine, launched on February 24, causing global food shortages. The United Nations has appealed to both sides, as well as maritime neighbor Turkey, to agree a corridor. A lack of access and communication could pose the biggest challenge to relief operations after a deadly earthquake struck Afghanistan's southeastern city of Khost. The death toll from the earthquake on Wednesday hit 1,000, disaster management officials said, with more than 600 injured, and the toll expected to grow as information trickles in from remote mountain villages. Wednesday's quake was the deadliest in Afghanistan since 2002.
This is a part of Afghanistan which is near the tribal areas of Pakistan. It's a traditional Taliban stronghold area, but it is remote. And what we're going to be seeing is a lack of access. The roads are poor, even in the best of time. And so having a humanitarian operation put in place is going to be immediately challenged by the lack of easy access to the area, to the region. And I think that's going to be probably one of the big challenges. Afghanistan is a country that is beset by hazards. Earthquakes, obviously, but floods, avalanches, landslides, droughts. And of course, this is coming on top of many years of conflict, which have really left the population displaced, destitute. And we've also seen a surge towards urban centers, which puts cities very high risk of earthquake. You have to bear.
Up next, Petroleum Regulatory Authority insists petrol must remain at 165 naira per litre. That's some business news after the short break.
And in business news, the Debt Management Office says subscription to federal government savings bonds has increased from about 100 million naira to over 1 billion naira in the last few months. This was said in an interview in Ibadan by Director, Business Development Department of the DMO, Monday Usiade. The DMO urged more Nigerians to invest in the various federal government securities to diversify their investment portfolios. The DMO stated that it is specifically targeting retail investors. The federal government says that 100% of capital budget was released to ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs in 2020 and 2021. This was announced by the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Ben Akaboeze, while reeling out Nigeria's achievements in budget transparency in Abuja. Speaking during the unveiling of Nigeria's scorecard on the 2021 Open Budget Survey, Akaboeze said Nigeria posted its best performance in the Open Budget Survey, improving by 24 points for transparency in the latest survey. He said the government had implemented strategic revenue initiatives to boost earnings growth and steer growth, noting that it had also begun open treasury plans, which included full disclosure of federal government's payment and enhanced social investment. Electricity Distribution Company says it has lost about 4 billion naira to vandalism of its assets and electrical installations in the last 6 months. The managing director, Ekiti, Dr. Tinuade Sanda, said this at a news briefing on Wednesday in Lagos. She said the menace had made it difficult for company to provide adequate electricity to its customers, whilst also posing a serious threat to its distribution infrastructure, especially the electricity cables. According to her, EKEDC is engaging the Ministry of Power, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, and the Bureau of Public Enterprises over the claim by a company that it had a contract to decommission underground cables within its network. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has assured international investors that his administration is taking steps to improve Nigeria's power supply, despite constraints and bottlenecks which have seen multiple incidents of grid failures. He revealed that Nigeria is decentralizing the national grid through renewable-driven mini-grids, and also once signed into law, the Constitutional Amendments Bill will allow state governments to generate and transmit their own electricity. The president discussed this and many other issues in an interview with Bloomberg on Tuesday. Now, Nigeria's Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has insisted that fuel price must remain at 165 naira because it is a regulated product and the prices are fixed. They added that the ex-depot price is none and that the pump price remains 165 naira, which the authority is ever ready to enforce the rule. This was disclosed by Mr. Ubugo Okowa, Executive Director, Distribution Systems, Storage and Retail Infrastructure, on Tuesday after visiting jetties in Apapa, Lagos. And that's it in business news. I am Khadijat Balogun.
And the main news again. Senate probes Shell over alleged joint venture agreements violation. Senate passes PPP Regulatory Commission bill. African Union has denounced what it terms dishonest Sudan talks. And that's the news now. For more stories, please follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa, Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. I'm Olamide Adeyemi. Many thanks for watching.